26CH43, City of Springfield, Illinois, Municipal Corporation, Plaintiff versus Chase. Sorry, I still can't pronounce that first part. Hayden.
It is, yes. And Your Honor, if I may, I am live streaming. Can I get
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm opening up the record here, so it's not your time to talk. But AKA Colton Lexus as defendant. And Mr. Lexus is present here today, self-represented. City Council is present, the Assistant Corporation Counsel, Mr. Hood, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Your position?
Yes.
Okay, who do you have with you?
I have with me paralegal Paige Kennedy,
All right.
and I have a few insurance for this case.
All right, so now let's talk about the recording. So obviously, the court security tells me, Mr. Lexus, is that you were attempting to live stream this.
I'm currently live streaming exercising my right to press.
Okay.
Is
Did
that
you
okay?
file a request through the courthouse for extended media coverage, asking to live stream this process?
I don't think a request was necessary if I'm already exercising this.
Okay, well, I just told you the request was necessary, so I'm
A
asking you
request
if
is
you filed.
necessary? Okay. I have not filed for a request for
Okay.
extended media coverage.
All right, I appreciate that. Mr. Hogue, do you have an objection to him live streaming?
And Your Honor, yes.
All right, I have never issued an extended media coverage order allowing live streaming or blogging in the courtroom, and I will not do so today.
Okay.
So I need you to turn that device
Yes,
off
ma'am.
if you want to be present for this hearing. Is anybody else attempting to live stream? Who else is present from the media? Sir, what's your name again?
Zach Adams.
Zach Adams?
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
I asked you last time, and I misnamed you, I apologize.
That's
Are you
okay.
from the Illinois Times then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, what's your name?
Adrian Dater, Illinois Times.
Also from the Illinois Times. Last time you told me you weren't going to record, I think.
What
You
now?
told me- I'm sorry. Just see what-
Yeah, that'd be great if I could hear you.
Yeah. Not very loud, is it? Does that help at all?
A little
I don't
bit.
think that's working very well. Well, I'll just try to talk later. Maybe it'll take it. Can you hear me okay? Seems like that could be way louder. I don't think that's working right. Doesn't seem like. Yeah, in any event. All right, from the Illinois Times.
Yeah.
But from Illinois Times with the camera. I tell you last time, you're gonna need to file an extended media coverage request.
Well, I don't remember hearing that, but,
Well, I'm talking about the one with the camera. You're fine.
oh,
Like, so the media can always be here unless it's a closed
All right.
proceeding. So I think there's just some confusion about the extended media request. So the extended media requests come into the courthouse ahead of time. And that gives the parties time to object if they don't want live cameras here.
yeah.
And there's a specific process to it. Also, when you go through the media liaison. Sir, I know you've been in court before, and you told me last time.
I've never filled out paperwork. My boss has always done it, and she said she did it, so she said I was good.
Well, so our court admin people are saying that I never was given one to sign. I know we talked about it last time. Last time there was no objection to you being present with the camera. There's no objection to you being present anyway.
Yeah.
Again, let me correct that. It's just the issue of the camera. So, Mr. Lexus, with respect to that, last time you stated that you had no objection to cameras being present.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hogue?
I don't have an objection to the camera.
Okay.
But I would like to address an issue before you came into court. Mr. Hernandez stated that one of them was a witness.
That one of those individuals was a witness?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that next, then, if we're going to have a motion to exclude witnesses, and that's really an interesting issue. So we'll address that next. But as far as the extended media coverage, you're allowed to stay, sir, and you were always allowed to stay, that's not a problem. You would have been allowed to stay again, but you can run the camera if the parties don't have an objection.
Okay.
So please figure out with your boss, we have had a turnover in our court administration, but there's a very specific process for this. So generally speaking, what happens is they'll do one, we don't want like 5 cameras in the courtroom, it's distracting. It's not as big a deal today because we don't have a jury here, that it would be more distracting from. So I'm okay with that if the parties are okay with the camera staying. no live streaming for anybody. You want to address then witness issues, so Mr., are you still wanting me to refer to you as Mr. Lexus, sir?
Absolutely, if that's okay.
Okay, that's all right with me. Mr. Lexus, do you intend to call witnesses today?
Well, I believe that the representing attorney has witnesses that were present, at least for the last hearing, that I was going to call and cross-examine. If they're not here today, I don't know how to proceed.
Are you intending to call one of these media representatives as a witness
Only
on your
after-
behalf today?
Only after I have a chance to cross-examine.
Okay, so you don't know if you're going to call them?
I don't see the individuals who were here last week, Your Honor.
Okay, don't worry about their witnesses.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, do you intend to call these media representatives as witnesses, and then we'll take up if there's a motion to exclude witnesses?
Can I confirm that if they're okay with participating in this hearing?
1 second. Mr. Hogue, is your reason for asking that you would intend to ask to exclude witnesses today, or please tell me? what
Yes,
your-
Your Honor, I'm going to go ahead and formally move to exclude witnesses.
Okay, so now that he's moved to exclude witnesses, that doesn't mean that they can't testify or they can't be present. Just means that if you chose to have them testify on your own behalf today, then I would ask them to be out of the courtroom while the other people were testifying.
Okay.
Are there other witnesses for you that includes that are present
No, my witness would call Your Honor.
in the hallway? Okay, very good. So the motion to exclude witnesses would be granted. You're not going to call them, we're just going to hear from you today?
I was gonna cross-examine the witnesses that they had.
Cross-examining the witnesses, again, that the state or the city calls is different than you calling to testify.
Okay, so I can still cross-examine their witnesses?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to confirm that because that's
It's
part
just,
of my.
we'll just have one in the room at a time.
Okay,
The reasoning
I
behind,
understand.
the reasoning behind that is so that individuals
Correct.
don't hear the testimony of
Right.
another and aren't influenced.
I respect that.
All right?
Okay.
All right, well, I'm going with the law today, not personal opinions.
No, I agree. That's what I'm here for. So yes, thank you.
All right, so, anything further, Mr. Hogue, I want to take up the most recently filed motion.
You mean, Mr. Lexus's motion to stay?
Yes, sir, I think it was filed on July 15th.
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize, I had a couple of motions for something that I wanted to take care of. I e-filed a response this morning. I don't think it's been accepted yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, I apologize, but I do see his emergency motion to vacate proceedings and for immediate stay pending related state and federal litigation, filed on July 15th at 1:15 p.m.
I do have that letter with me here today from the court, Your Honor, showing it's been approved by the judge for review. And it's, the city has, I believe, until the 28th of the month to proceed.
Don't know what you're referring to.
They have a chance to respond to that. They were served in open court in their own jurisdiction.
What is the document that's in your hand?
It's a U.S. District Court, it's a civil docket case notification I received back from a lawsuit
Okay.
that was filed.
Jeff, can you get that in a quick copy? And then do you have a courtesy copy, Mr. Hogue, of your response on the motion to stay?
Yes, sir.
Would you like a copy of that also?
I've given a copy.
I have one, and I'm ready to proceed if he is
I
not
understand.
objecting to his motion.
Mr. Hogue, do you have a copy of this docket, this federal court docket? Would you like a copy while Jeff's?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, and yes, if you have a copy, I appreciate it.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Okay, thank you very much. So, I have been the plaintiff's response to defendant's motion to stay. Appeared to be filed on today's date, but unfortunately, the e-filing system is a little behind in schedule. I'm now in receipt of that. And I've also been handed on behalf of Mr. Lexus, This U.S. District Court, Central District of Illinois Civil Docket, indicating that they did receive a complaint on July 14th. Okay, thank you very much. So with respect to your motion to vacate proceedings and for immediate stay, Mr. Lexus, do you want to argue that now and we'll have response from the city?
Well, I actually will argue it because the representing party stated that they had emailed this response. That was not the case. He stated earlier that it was e-filed and not emailed. The two are significantly different in processes, and I believe that he is aware of those differences. This may be an attempt to supersede the case in any way. He was given a copy of the motion via email, and his response should have been in the same manner, which is via email.
Well, okay, let's get some things straight. He doesn't have to respond at all. He chose to respond, and it's on file now, as of this moment. Are you prepared? You told me a moment ago you were prepared to proceed
I am
and had
prepared.
seen his response. Is that correct?
I have skimmed through his response. I've not fully read through his response. I am prepared to cross-examine today and move forward in that direction if the court deems it appropriate for this case, even though I filed this motion.
Listen, I know you're not a lawyer. I don't think you are, or you became one since our last appearance. So you are appearing pro se today, which means you're representing yourself.
Correct.
I'm trying to be as patient as I can with that process, knowing that you don't have any formal legal background. But I can't tell you what to do. I did advise you last time to get counsel. I see that you're not here with counsel. But if you file this legal motion, or what you consider a legal motion today, to vacate and for immediate stay pending, and you say you're ready to respond, that doesn't involve any cross-examination. That's a legal motion.
Your Honor, if you are now willing to accept the motion, then I would be willing to proceed with today's evidentiary.
Hang on one second, Mr.
I
Lexus.
couldn't hear her, so you can't record it,
What's the dilemma with the media coverage?
honestly.
they're recording.
What are you recording, Mr.?
No, honestly, I misunderstood. I was just recording, I thought I could record a voice recorder here, but I couldn't hear exactly what you told him, so no recording whatsoever?
So, that's recorded.
Oh,
You're just doing a still camera?
Yep.
Okay. You can go ahead and record. I'll make it more clear. What's not allowed is any live streaming by any parties that aren't media. And also, traditionally, like I was telling you guys, when we get this straightened out for whatever next proceedings that she has to participate in, I have never issued an order allowing live streaming. So as long as you're not streaming that and you're just recording it, that's fine. So think of it as that was the camera and it had the recording device in it. The two of you together are one thing.
I was doing voice recording. I probably can't hear it very well anyway, so I'll just not.
Okay.
I hope I get a summary of what's going on at some point.
I don't know why this isn't as clear as it's on, but it's not working. Are your mics on?
Spoke earlier, Your Honor.
Yeah, I feel it kind of echoing. All right, let me go back to this. This is a legal motion, so this is not one with witnesses. So if you want to argue it, that's fine, and the state will then respond, and we'll decide on that before we go into the preliminary hearing, depending on whether or not I grant your motion, okay?
Okay. Actually, yes, I would like to argue this motion, and if denied, I can continue with today's hearing.
You would like to argue this motion?
Correct.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So, as stated in my introductory, my factual background, this court does have jurisdiction of this matter, and that I am asking that this be put a stay until that judge has had an opportunity to hear the case at its entirety. As I mentioned in the previous hearing, that this is technically a civil rights violation. The city has violated those rights, and now my due process rights by holding the phone evidentiary hearing as of last week, Wednesday, which basically conflicted this hearing today, Your Honor. So on those basis and those merits, I'm asking that a stay be granted until the federal case has been resolved.
Mr. Hook?
Yes, Your Honor. So I apologize that my e-filing was not accepted timely, or that I did not timely submit that for acceptance. But briefly, Your Honor, motions to stay are generally governed under Section 2619A3, which allows a defendant or party to move for dismissal or stay whenever there's another action pending between the same parties and for the same cause. And there I quoted Kellerman v. MCI, Telecommunications Corp., an Illinois Supreme Court case from 1986. So the factors are to be considered whether there's duplicitous actions, the prevention of multiplicity, vexation, harassment, the likelihood of obtaining complete relief in the foreign jurisdiction, and the res judicata effect of a foreign judgment in the local forum. And here, the causes of action are not similar. In this, as you're aware, Your Honor, in the case present before you, the city is the plaintiff, and Mr. Lexus is the defendant. And the city is seeking injunctive relief against the defendant. In the federal case, Mr. Lexus is the plaintiff, and the city is the defendant, and he is seeking a monetary judgment against the city of Springfield.
For damage to,
Sir,
go ahead.
you're interrupting him. This is your first warning. You're going to let him argue right now if you want to be present for this proceeding.
Okay.
Mr. Hogue?
So the causes of action are not similar. They do not involve the same elements. It is possible for both the city to obtain relief in this case and for the plaintiff to obtain relief in the federal action with no conflict whatsoever. So we would respectfully ask that you deny the motion to stay so we can proceed with this injunctive relief.
All right, your motion, Mr. Lexus, anything further in argument?
The argument is that in also that lawsuit that he has stated correctly, there is a specific verbiage there that does play in this case because the city used contractors to damage religious property, which this property is indicated as well on this specific case. So as the attorney for the city representing stated earlier that harassment and damage, those two things collide with that case as well, which is why I'm seeking, in that case, that civil suit. So it does link directly to that case, Your Honor.
Okay, well, that's not the standard if there is a link between the two and you are the plaintiff in that case. So I'm going to deny your motion to stay and your motion to vacate proceedings at this time. And we're going to proceed with this hearing today, which is on the petition for preliminary injunction that was filed with notice on July 9th, 2026 by the city of Springfield. So I want to say just quickly, I know that we recessed and moved to continue this case at the last proceeding, so the court would have an opportunity to 100% determine what the legal standard should be today. Both parties, opposing parties, were arguing different legal standards. It's important, of course, in the law moving forward before we hear any evidence or arguments in this case. In this case, the state, I keep saying state, my apologies, the city has cited to some specific statutory language and statutes, the law, and a 4th District Appellate Court case, and an Illinois 2024 Illinois Supreme Court case that is directly on point for the issues in this matter. Therefore, after reviewing that information, this will not be decided on hardships. As a matter of fact, it's not even a choice. The Supreme Court is not allowing me to do that when a municipality comes forward and they have statutory authority to ask for an injunction for continuous rule violations. So that will be the standard that the court will apply today. But we'll need to hear evidence with respect to whether or not the city can prove these violations are continuous violations, whichever they choose to move forward with today. Makes sense? I'm citing specifically to 65 ILCS 5/11-13-15. I'll discuss that in a little more detail later. Also to cases cited by the city in the brief. That would include Roxana Community Unit School District Number 1 versus WRB Refining LP, 4th District case, and City of Rock Falls versus Ames Industrial Services, 2024 Illinois Supreme Court case that came out of the 4th District, which again, we are part of the 4th District. Mr. Hood?
Yeah.
Call your first witness.
I think that's something I want to say, Your Honor, but I'll wait.
What do you want to say?
That the city is arguing habitability in a safe.
We don't need that right now.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll have an argument at the conclusion of the evidence.
Okay.
So the city will call it John Harris. John Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, you want to step on up and be sworn in, sir? Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much. Yeah, step into the box here and watch yourself. I have a little issue with this new technology. If you need to push the screen back, please. I know, it's awful. All right, and you're gonna mic next to you, I think, okay? Very good. Mr. Hogue, witness has been sworn, you may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. Would you please state and spell your name for the record?
John Harris, John, Harris, Harris.
What's your current occupation?
The zoning administrator for the city of Springfield,
How long have you been in that role?
since March of 2024.
What was your previous role with the city of Springfield?
The assistant zoning administrator,
How long were you the assistant zoning administrator?
10 years.
Are you familiar with the zoning code
Yes,
of the city of Springfield?
yes, correct.
Are you familiar with the property located at 1705 East Carpenter?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that property?
The city had received a complaint in April of 27 regarding the structure being placed on the lot. And the zoning assistant administrator went out and looked at temporary nature of the structure being placed on the lot. Prior to that, we had received a call probably back in February-ish, March maybe, I don't know the specific date of the time range, just by February, March. We had received calls regarding the property, whether certain types of structures could be placed on the lot.
Are you aware of what the current zoning regulation is for that property?
Yes, it's R2, single family and duplex residence district.
Is that zoning intended for low density, residential dwellings?
It would allow for, the R2 is a single family and duplex residence district, so, 40-foot wide lot would allow for a duplex or a single family residence.
Within the R2 zoning district, it's a person allowed to have a structure that's not a residence and not connected to a residence or not in conjunction with a residence on the property?
They could have a residence on the lot, as in a single family residence, but an accessory structure, a structure by itself, no, because this accessory structure is accessory to a primary structure.
Something like would a garage or a shed, would that be an accessory structure?
A garage or accessory structure, it depends on what, if there's a house on the lot, a single family residence would be accessory to the house, so you can store your items in there related to you living at the property in the house. But by itself, it depends on what that accessory structure is. Is it, I don't know what it would be considered accessory to by itself.
So are you familiar with any structures on the property at 1705 East Carpenter?
Other than the what had we originally went out on April 27th, that structure, as well as I believe there was another structure that was under construction as of a later date.
Do either of those structures meet the zoning relief for that property?
From a structural point of view, as a residence on that lot,
Zoning.
from a zoning point, from the structure on the lot, I do not believe so. I don't believe it would qualify as a use under the R2.
Is that because the use of the R2 requires a residence?
For a storage or an accessory structure, I would say yes, that would be the case.
Do the structures meet the definition of a residence under the city code?
No, it does not. It does not.
Why is that?
The definition of it, because it's not, it doesn't contain a dwelling unit. It's something that would meet the definition of a dwelling unit.
So to be clear, the city code states that in order to be a residence, a structure has to have a dwelling unit.
Definition of a dwelling unit is that it has to have, in addition to a sleeping and a living air facilities, it has to have a kitchen and a bath facility.
If it doesn't have those things, it doesn't meet the definition of a dwelling unit.
That's what the definition of a dwelling unit is. So if it doesn't, if the residence is a building or a group of building or a portion of a building containing dwelling units. So if it's not a dwelling unit, it's not a residence.
Are you able to check and investigate whether a property has active utilities?
Yes, our office does. We can check CWT for utility records.
Have you done so for the property at 1705 East Carpenter?
Yes, our administrative secretary said check tonight. We did not find any records for the utility for the water or electric at the property.
And so, I believe you stated this before, but based on the city's definitions in the zoning code, do you believe that the structures on the property are in compliance with zoning regulations for that property?
No, I do not believe so. As an R2 level uses, I don't believe so.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Mr. Lexus, do you have some questions for this witness? This is your opportunity to
Yes.
cross-examine.
So you stated that you have how many years in experience as a, did you say a zoning manager, or what was your title?
Zoning administrator.
Zoning administrator. You stated earlier that this particular lot at 1705 East Carpenter is zoned for residential use, is that correct?
It's an R2 single family duplex residence district.
Can you define what R2 residence zoning is?
Yes, it allows for a single family with operate duplex, since the lot is large enough. It's an existing 40-foot lot, would have to have 6,000 square feet of lot area for two attached dwelling units, with one residential structure on the lot.
Okay.
It would allow for, it allows churches, parks, daycares, like a community garden, despite the little community garden there. And it allows for other community churches, schools.
Okay. And to your knowledge, does this system update frequently on a monthly basis?
I do not know that.
So it could be possible that there are utilities at the property, but the system would not know that.
I would say that there's building records for a monthly basis, so
Okay.
it would be,
What,
I don't know what their software does, but I do know that on a monthly basis when somebody's behind an account, that's part of the building procedures, so we do have real time, whether it's power has been removed or if somebody's behind on payments, you put notes in there, and period.
When was that check conducted?
That was done prior to signing the affidavit.
And what date did you sign your affidavit?
I don't have it in front of me. I believe it was 27th or 29th, I believe. Was it?
Just simplifies things for everybody. The one I have in front of me says June 29th, Mr. Lexus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was that day.
So your assistant was able to conduct a search of the property, but you as a zoning manager could not?
No, I don't have access to that software. We will have limited accounts. We have to have certain people have access rights to be able to search. So her being in charge of this department, she was the one who performed that search for me. So
If you don't have access to that search, why then would you ask your associate to conduct a search for that address?
we're trying to ascertain whether there are utilities of the property.
Okay, but is that your job, to hook up utilities to that property?
No, it's not my job to hook up utilities.
So you were not conducting a job at that moment in time, correct?
As a zoning administrator, it was to determine whether there's utilities or services to it. Yes.
Are you a certified electrician?
Yeah,
That's your-
stand.
Okay. So, after determining from your findings that there was no utilities, did this specifically indicate water, lights, gas? What specific utilities were you looking for?
Part of the definition of a dwelling unit includes that there's kitchen or bath facilities.
Okay, so you asked your associate to conduct a search for 1705 East Carpenter, correct? But you didn't specify what type of search you were looking for, correct?
No, she's searching for CWP for utility records.
What do you
Is
mean?
are you searching utility records for city water?
Can you specify what utilities you were searching
There's electric and water for city water.
for? Okay. And none of those were present?
There are records or no history or no indication that
Now, as a zoning manager, is anyone required to obtain city water and lights resources and utilities?
I'm not sure where you're coming from with this.
Is,
Wait, just one second, Mr. Lexus.
I think we asked the question, I apologize.
Just a minute. I think I heard an objection. I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit hard to hear here, but did you object, Mr. Hood?
I did, Your Honor, yes. I'm going to object on the basis of, I think this question calls for speculation, if I understand the question correctly.
Just overrule your objection, but Mr. Lexus, since I interrupted us, if you could just restate that?
Yes.
Question maybe that was all right.
Can a resident obtain utilities through a different provider in the city of Springfield? This includes private utilities.
What do you mean by private utilities?
In the city's own code, it does specify that private utilities can be produced. So I'm asking you now, do residences in the city of Springfield,
That is not, I can't answer that in capacity of the zoning administrator. So I can't answer your question. Don't let me answer that.
okay, so,
It's really not on the end use, it's a matter of, question is for purposes of utilities, is it at a bathroom? Does it have a kitchen facilities? Here, obviously, it doesn't, to the best of my knowledge, to the best of my search, it doesn't have utilities for
is that,
water, it doesn't have.
is that the only source that you used to search for utilities?
Yes, that's, my basis of search is based on that I do have no knowledge of attachment to a water source or a sewer source.
Can you recall a specific city code or ordinance that requires someone to have utilities at their address?
Well, the zoning code says that the definition of a dwelling unit includes a facility.
And what code is that?
That's under the zoning ordinance, that's the definitions, 12501 says that the definition of a dwelling is a room or a group of rooms for, used for, as a, not as a use for residence, but as a, living facilities, that, it says that a dwelling includes a bathroom and a cooking and a kitchen facilities in addition to a sleeping and a.
But right now, you're gonna ask just for the utilities, so.
Well, that would
When
apply.
I'm referring to the questions for utilities, in this case, I'm asking about water, electricity, just for those two.
That's not in my chapter 155, but the definition of dwelling is determined.
I'm not asking for the definition of a dwelling. I'm asking you about the utilities. Can you cite a specific municipal code that requires a
Under
resident?
my chapter 155, there
Let me
are.
finish.
Hold on.
What do you-
We're just kind of back and forth here now, so you're gonna let him answer, ask the question, that's what he gets to do right now. And you gotta answer it and not ask him any more questions. Just answer it to the best of your ability. If you're not able to, just tell him you can't answer.
Can you specify a specific city ordinance code that requires a resident to obtain utilities from CWLP?
In my chapter 155, I can't say that there is other than what would allow one to issue building permits for, if it doesn't meet the standards for the use. Then I can't issue. So.
I'm not asking you to issue the permit.
That's all you answer. Commissioner.
Under the guise of the current structure that's on the lot, and its occupancy as a habitable structure, well, as a residence that you're trying to use as a dwelling unit, does not meet that definition of what a permit would need to be issued.
That's not really what he asked.
That's not
You've
what
been
I asked.
answering the same thing
Yes.
over and over again. So it's for the city's attorney to make the argument today. So just answer the question the best you can, sort all the rest out later, okay? So you have a question, Mr. Lexus, to pose to him. Let's try that one more time and then we're done with that question.
In all of your time working as a zoning manager, have you ever visited properties for the complaints that you've received?
Yes,
And have you ever visited 1705 East Carpenter Street?
I have physically been by the property.
Are you aware that on the property there are solar panels present?
Yes,
And to your best of ability, what is the objective for those solar panels?
I would assume they're supposed to cover some sort of something.
Okay, so my observation as a manager, would you say that those panels would have been used to produce electricity or some form of utilities?
I would assume that they're producing electricity for some purpose.
Okay. Have you ever seen lights at the property?
I have not seen light because I haven't been by there.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
For what reason do you have an exhibit?
Yes.
Has Mr. Hoag seen the exhibit?
I believe, I can check.
If you would, please,
Yes.
thank you. And yes, you may approach, thank you.
I'm going to pass you this image so you can see it closely. And I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
Let's call it something, Mr. Alexis. What do you call it?
We're going to call this Exhibit A.
A, defendant's exhibit A?
Yes.
Okay.
The first picture on the top of that page, can you tell me from your observation what you see?
The top portion is Airspace vehicle parked in there. We've got 2 tents, a solar panel, and some sort of shed type structure.
Okay. Do you see any lights in that picture?
There's lighting on the exterior in front of the building.
You said that you see 2 tents in that photo, correct?
Appears to be 2 tents.
Okay. Is there a zoning code for tents?
I would say under zoning code, I think the interpretation is the use of it.
And what is the zoning code for that?
I don't think that it's enumerated as an R2 zoning use.
Okay.
I think you have no principal primary structure on the lot. For a long-term habitation, I don't believe that it anticipates the.
The question is strictly, is there a zoning code for tents?
I think you're asking for my names. Yes, so I think in this case, for a long-term habitation of a property in the R2, it envisions a permanent habitation as a structure, or a dwelling unit in the R2.
You said permanent.
But the permanent habitation, I would say, when you talk about use of a property, I would say if somebody had a residential structure that met building code, that's the primary use of the property. And your accessory use would be if you put a garage, shed, and stored your utility.
I'm just gonna stop you, because the question that he asked, in all sincerity here, was just if you knew of the zoning ordinance regarding tents.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
That's all you have to answer.
You're right, I'm trying to describe that.
You don't have to explain it, just answer his question.
Okay.
Yes or no?
No, I don't believe a tent for permanent habitation in the R2 would be an acknowledged use.
Okay.
I'd like to enter this as Exhibit B, Your Honor. It's the required tents permitting for the city of Springfield. It does indicate in the first paragraph, I will show this to council.
Yeah, could you please?
That in order to obtain a permit for a tent, you must have in excess of 400 square feet. So,
No, it's not gonna be your time to argue.
I don't.
It's gonna be later,
I'm
okay?
gonna ask follow-up questions.
Okay, we'll let you do that, just a minute. So this is Exhibit B, and you're identifying it as what?
It's going to be the title of the document, requirements for tents.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you want to use it to us?
And
Yes, I got this question, okay, thank you.
to your best knowledge, what is a tent? Describe a tent.
I don't have a definition. Definitions is not defined under our 15501. I think what you answer, I'll let you answer.
Thank you.
To your best knowledge, does the city of Springfield require a permit to place a tent on one of our property?
I think you need to ask that to the building department, whether a permit, it's a building permit section, chapter 170, which is not under my purview. But I will answer, I think the form that you have does not apply to a tent on one's individual residential property. It applies to a use group for like a commercial tent or a tent over for occupancy over a certain size. So the building department inspector can answer that.
In that photo I showed you, you saw it. You see that you see a light on that property, correct?
Yes,
But you stated earlier that your check on CWLP's system, with the help of your assistant, that the location had no utilities. Does it in this photo appear to be that there are utilities?
there appears to be some sort of connection for electric illumination of the light.
Okay. Can you tell me what's the CWLP acronym stand for?
City water line power.
And what do you see in that photo?
I see some sort of illumination of the light source in front of the building.
So there is, from your image that you're seeing here, there is light in the photo, correct? Okay. So would you say by observation that there is utilities at this address?
I see there's a light source there.
Okay. So in your opinion, even though I'm asking the opinion council, would that constitute as utilities?
Again, I'm not here to discuss whether there's a utility.
It's a yes or no.
If you're in the answer.
Now, In that photo, do you also see the presence of solar panels?
Yes.
What do solar panels do?
Yeah, I agree. We've been through with solar panels too, and you may need a more appropriate witness that's coming up, Mr. Lexus.
Uh, oh. If you could do me a favor and look at the the left-hand side of that photo. Do you see what appears to be a diesel here?
It's on the left side. Correct. Is it a blackish color strip thing? on the side?
Yes.
Side that appears to be back of the structure.
Correct.
Not the front of the unit, but the back side.
Bear with me, or I'm grabbing another.
That's all right. Mr. Howard, have you seen those? Would you, yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Lexus, would you show Mr. Howard, please? Well, you do that, I'm gonna mark this was Defense Exhibit A, I think, correct? Yes. Okay. This was a photograph, just to demonstrate lights, diesel, I think.
And this is exhibits here.
Okay. If you need these, they're right here. I'll just leave them.
I'm gonna pass you this sheet of paper. In the previous photo, you see that you saw illumination, correct?
Correct.
In this photo, the top the top left. Can you describe to me what you think that is?
It's like some sort of muffler sticking out.
Okay. What are, from your knowledge, what are mufflers designed to do?
For a vehicle to exhaust.
Okay. So this appears to be what type of equipment?
Some sort of exhaust. Or
So-
intake.
In this photo, there is a diesel heater. Would you say that after seeing the lights present in the previous photo, that this heater would also be connected to that same heater? Jack, I think that calls for speculation.
Yeah, I agree, sustain. You'll be able to testify later, Mr. Lexus, as to what those devices are.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask you this one. So there's another photo.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last one was on the same page.
This,
It's on.
It's on the same
Group
page.
exhibit.
the exhaust thing.
We'll call that Defense Group Exhibit C.
This is
You're on D. Okay.
so in the bottom
Yeah,
photo.
we're just gonna, hang on one sec, let's mark it, because I'm gonna get these separated for you. So we're gonna say,
In that picture, do you see what appears to be an illuminated light?
Sorry. This is the lower one here. Yeah, here's a light, it's got some sort of, yes, some sort of illumination.
Okay, would you say that from observation that there is utilities at this specific address? I don't understand. This has been asked me to.
I'm gonna sustain your objection on the basis that it's calling for a legal conclusion at this point. If he can testify what he's seeing there, and he can certainly testify what he observes in the photo.
In your observation, do you see a light?
Yes,
In your observation, is that light all blue?
color, but it appears that might be some sort of, yeah, not perhaps.
Okay. In your observation, where is that light bulb displayed?
I don't know if this would be the front or the side of the building.
Okay. Do you see a window in that photograph?
Yes,
Okay. And do you see a light above the window?
yes,
And from that
photograph, what can you conclude?
That there's no light of a window.
Okay.
Can I see that, Mr. Lexus? Can you tell me which one?
It's that.
Right here? Yep. Okay, I'm gonna just put a little X to the side of that.
Thank you.
That's what you spoke to the witness about. Thank you.
This is going to be exhibit E.
What happened to C?
I believe it's in there.
I have, so far, you might have taken it back, I have A identified as a photographic exhibit, B as requirements for tents from the city of Springfield, and then you asked me to mark this as a D, which had 4 photographs on it. I just questioned the witness about, if C is out there, I have not seen it.
That's all I have written down.
We don't have C?
Correct.
That's okay. Would you mark the next one C? If you don't have a C there.
Also, we have a copy of this affidavit. I think I have it. It's lost. It's one more, I apologize.
It's okay. What's that?
I'm sorry, I have you on the check to this.
To what?
To you showing the meeting.
Oh, of course not. I have it here. I would give him my copy to talk to the witness about, but, it's highlighted.
I did have recommended you that it's,
I'd like to enter this into exhibit E, Your Honor.
Let's identify it first, and then you're gonna call it E.
Correct. E, this is going to be photo of smoke alarm.
Okay, let's see if he can identify.
To the best of your knowledge, at the bottom of this photograph, what do you see?
On the very bottom. Appears to be some sort of, I don't know if this is a wall or if it's a ceiling. It says, it has writing, it says smoke alarm, first alert, 10-year battery, and it's got a UPC. So I would assume that it says do not paint. It appears that perhaps it's a smoke alarm.
Okay.
You can go ahead and call the next witness.
Okay, well, first I have to give him a chance to redirect on this witness, okay? Since it was the witness that he called.
I apologize.
It's okay, so, Mr. Lexus has finished his cross-examination. Mr. Arnold, do you have any further questions of this witness for your redirect?
I don't have any,
Okay. Let's go just a step down. Can he be completely excused?
as far as I'm concerned, yes, Your Honor.
You don't have him there,
I don't have any
Mr.
follow-ups
Lexus or
right now.
anything? Okay. I mean, you're certainly you can stay if you wish. He say in the courtroom if he wishes to pursue to the motion to exclude witnesses?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, could you repeat?
I'm sorry, we had the motion to exclude witnesses earlier, but if he's not going to be recalled, he would be free to stay if he chose to?
Yeah, I don't intend to call him, so if he says something, I will not recall it.
Okay, all right, very good. Sorry, I'll let you decide that, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Please super watch your step, brother.
Thank you.
We have people trip on that all the time.
You stay?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, another tripping hazard. It's cool now. That's a bad one, it's got to be terrible. Sir, your next witness?
Sorry, Your Honor, I said paralegal.
Okay, well,
Mitchell Flynn. Mitchell Flynn? Yeah.
that's so fun. Don't get here when you get here.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Mitchell Flynn, MITCHELLFLYNN,
What's your current occupation?
building code official for the city of Springfield.
How long have you been in her role?
since January 1 of 2025.
Prior to that, what was your occupation?
I was the Housing and Demolition Division Manager for the city of Springfield.
How many years of experience do you have as a building inspector?
22 years.
Are you familiar with the building code of the city of Springfield?
I am.
Are you also familiar with the property located at 1705 East Park?
I am.
How are you familiar with that property?
The defendant, Mr. Hayes, had called us in March and inquired about whether or not he could bring this, I believe he referred to it as a pod at the time, and live in it on the property.
What did you tell him at that time?
We told him that the pod itself didn't sound like it would meet any building requirements, plus there are also other issues as far as zoning requirements, and that we wouldn't allow that to be placed on there as a residence.
For somebody is going to put a residence on a piece of property, what are the other requirements that they have to go through to do that?
Well, first we need a building permit, and then the building permit's reviewed to make sure that it meets all of the requirements, building, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, zoning. So all of those people have to do a review and approve it.
How about for structures such as sheds, garages, and pods?
There is a certain requirement just for storage sheds, if you're under a certain amount of square feet, that you don't have to have a building permit for those.
What's that square foot?
I believe it's 120 square feet.
Such a structure would only be able to be used for storage?
Correct.
Would a person be able to live in such a structure?
No, we would not.
All right. Do you have the ability to determine if a property has active utilities?
We have the ability to see where the utilities are located in the public right-of-ways and whether or not they've been there in the past. So they have access to them, yes.
Does 1705 East Park grant access?
It does.
Do you know if it has active utilities?
Not that I'm aware of, because there was no structure on the property.
Under the city code, does the dwelling have to have active utilities to be safe to live in?
Yes, if those utilities are available to the property, then they have to connect to those public utilities.
All right. Does a person sources uses a solar panel generator, is that sufficient to meet the building code?
No, residents could not only be hooked up to solar.
If a person relies on bottled water for their water utilities, is that sufficient under the code?
It is not.
Does the person also have to have sanitary services?
They do, unless they have written permission from Sangamon County Sanitation District specifically stating why they don't need to, because a different system that's been approved has been installed.
Do you know how much square foot habitable room needs to be?
Every living space, or residence, I should say, is required to have at least one habitable space of 120 square feet, and no dimension can be smaller than 7 feet.
Are toilets required?
For sanitation purposes, they are correct.
Is a kitchen required?
It is.
What's required in that kitchen?
Basically a food preparation area and a way to, a sanitary way to dispose of food for food preparation for disposable purposes. Same thing as the restroom, it's for sanitary purposes.
Is running hot and cold water necessary?
Hot water is required in this residence, yes.
Is it? I'm sorry. I think when I ask this one, let me just make sure. Does the city code define an unsafe and dangerous structure?
Yeah, I mean, there's a definition of unsafe and dangerous structure, and it could be met by a lot of different criteria.
Okay. Is sanitary services one of those criteria?
It is.
Okay. Do you know what that definition says?
Not off the top of my head, I do not.
All right, so you don't remember what the definition is right now?
I don't know, that's sanitary, yeah.
Would your affidavit that you signed recently refresh your recollection?
I'm sure that would, yes.
I'm going to move to showing this affidavit to refresh the recollection.
Is your memory exhausted without it?
Yes, I deal with all of this all day long, many different cases, so I just didn't want to.
Very good, you can refresh this right one time.
I'm just going to ask you to read this real quick, just to yourself, and I'll ask you questions after. Are you?
Yep.
Okay, after reading that, is your memory refreshed?
Yes, if you'd like to ask a question.
Okay. So, do you recall what the city code says about sanitary services and maintenance structures?
Yes, without connections to these public utilities, it could be found to be an unsanitary condition for anybody who look at the structure without those.
As the property as the structures on the property at 1705 East Carpenter been inspected?
There's no permits, so the structures themselves were brought in. One of them was brought in completed, so there was no chance to do an inspection on that. And the other one was seen by the building inspectors and was placarded as a stop work order because there are no permits for it.
The inspector issued a violation report?
Yes, I believe he did.
Did you review that violation report?
And to my knowledge, I believe it said it is a stop work order for working no permit. And I don't remember any other violations that were written up other than the working with no permits. Other than building permits being required.
And let it mark this exhibit 1. Do you recognize that document?
I do.
What is that document?
This is an inspection report for the property at 1705 East Carpenter.
So that would have been reported after the inspection of the structures?
Yes.
And what does the inspection report do?
It basically lists all violations that we are aware of for that structure.
All right, and after an inspection, is that prepared in the ordinary course of business?
It is.
When I move to admit cities exhibit 1?
Please, exhibit 1, you seen that, Mr. Lexus?
Yes.
Okay. That would be admitted without objection.
Check me to take it, which I can take you there.
Cities 1, I'll take it. Thank you very much. I'll just leave the exhibits up here on the bench if anyone needs it. This was, I'll just note, also attached, it looks like as part of the original complaint for injunctive relief.
Small correction, Your Honor, to attach the petition.
Okay. It's dated June 16th, inspected by Mrs. Inspector by Thomas Hamilton. That's another individual's name, Matthew Warner.
Those are both building inspectors.
Okay. All right, so City's Exhibit 1. Thank you. I think he's still asking questions, Mr. Lexus.
Are the structures on the property at 1705 East Carpenter safe?
No, they don't meet the requirements for residents.
All right. And does the city code allow people to live in unsafe and dangerous structures?
We do not.
All right. No further questions, thank you.
Okay, so hang tight, sir. Mr. Lexus is entitled to be able to ask you some questions for this cross-examination, okay? Mr. Lexus?
Can you please say your name one more time?
Mitchell Flynn?
You recognize this document?
So get closer, I couldn't read it from there.
It's his affidavit.
Yes.
Okay. And did you sign this document?
Yes.
This is your signature? Okay. Can you please describe your occupation with the city of Springfield?
I'm the building code official for the Office of Building Code.
How long have you been working there?
I believe it was 2020 or 21 when I first started.
In your affidavit, you stated you started in January 2025. Is that not correct?
That's as the building code official.
What were you doing before that?
I was the housing and demolition division manager for the city of Springfield.
And how long was that?
That was for 1 year.
In your affidavit, you stated 22 years.
Correct. I was also a commercial building inspector for the city of Springfield for a number of years. And I worked for the city of Macomb Office of Building and Zoning for 16 years.
You said in line 2 of your affidavit that you are familiar with the building and zoning codes for the city of Springfield, Illinois. Are you familiar with the building city code 170.16.14?
No, not off the top of my head. I would look that up.
In line number 13, you stated in your affidavit that pursuant to city code 170.16.14, persons are not allowed to live in unsafe and dangerous structures.
That's correct.
But you just stated that you're not familiar with it.
I don't come up by that code number, sir.
Can you define what unsafe and dangerous structure is?
There are several different reasons that you have an unsafe structure. One is sanitation purposes, other are defects in the structure itself.
Sure. Did you ever receive phone calls or complaints for the address 1705 East Carpenter?
Yes, we have received complaints from adjoining property owners.
And what were those complaints?
They were concerned about the structures that were on the property, and then we've also had some complaints regarding the vegetation overgrowth of the property.
And where was that vegetation?
Towards the northern side of the property along the alley.
You said in your affidavit that through your role, you're able to determine if the property has active electric and water utilities. And that you say that you know the property located at 1705 East Carpenter does not. Can you describe how you came to know that information?
Well, city water, light, and power can provide us information of whether or not water, sewer, and or electric are active and being billed at any location.
Have you ever conducted a search yourself?
No, staff had called CWLP to see if there were any active utilities being built at that location.
Okay, because in line 5 of your affidavit, you state that through my rule, I'm able to determine if the property has active electric or water utilities, and that you know the property located does not have active water utilities, but you never conducted a search.
When our city staff calls downstairs to CWLP to see if those things are active and being built, that is our search, and they tell us there isn't.
So I'm going to re-ask your question. Did you ever conduct a search yourself?
I did not make the phone call to see, no.
So who conducted a search on your behalf?
Any of the city staff. We have permit technicians that typically are the ones that make that call.
So who would that be in this case?
I don't know.
So
Since
how
it's noted in the case.
So then how do you know that this address does or does not have active utilities?
As I was told by city staff
And
from
that was-
CWLP that there are no active utilities, nothing's connected.
Someone from, you're stating that someone from CWLP told you that this address does not have utilities?
Doesn't have active utilities being built, and that would have been at the time after the structure.
Can you state for the record who that individual was?
No, I cannot.
You state in under line 6, under city code, that dwelling without active utilities is unsafe to live in, correct?
Correct.
What is utilities to your definition?
Public access to water and sewer and electric.
And is that the only type of utilities deemed appropriate or acceptable by CUs?
Yes,
So the city does not permit private owned water supplies and privately owned power supplies?
to my knowledge, CWLP does not allow that, and if they did, they had to have it approved.
So are you an employee of CWLP?
No, I'm not.
You're an employee of the city, correct?
Correct.
So why does it matter whether or not CWLP requires the use of privatized water?
But for sanitary purposes, why it matters to us.
But you're not an employee of CWLP, correct?
No, I'm an employee of the building itself.
So your obligation to the city of Springfield is that all of the codes for the city of Springfield are met, correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to ask the question again. Does the city, in its code, permit the use of private water, sewage, or electrical?
Not to my knowledge.
Very clear, Your Honor.
Sure.
Counsel, do you have a copy of the violations? That you entered in?
Sorry, I brought one copy.
Your Honor, can I see that?
Is the one that you just handed me, is it the one?
It's a little list of.
Yeah, I should have just left out county bench.
Under City Code 171.10.03, can you please read to me what you see in this section?
Accessory structure being built without a permit. Yep. Is that the section you're referencing?
Yep. It's going to be this right. 171.10.
Separate exhibit?
That's it.
It's
That
the
was
same
already
one.
on. Yeah, it's
Second page.
it's the same one that you just.
Same one, second page.
Can you read aloud what that states?
Each building which is intended for human habitation occupancy shall have connection to the public water system, a semi-private water system, or a private water supply.
So, after reading that statement, can you conclude the city does allow the use of privatized utilities?
CULT may allow that. The only time I've ever seen it is if it's in
Can I rephrase the
the
question? The city of Springfield After reading that statement, can you conclude the city's ordinance does allow the use, it's a yes or no question, of private water, private sewage, and electrical?
Since that it would or would not be a requirement for the city of
Only yes or no.
It's not.
Only yes or no.
No, I can't conclude that for you.
I'm going to read this on his behalf, Your Honor. 171.1003, ISP 890.17a. Each building which is intended for human habitation or occupancy shall have a connection to a public water system, a semi-private water system, or a private water supply. Give me 1 second, Your Honor. Okay.
What do you have there, Mr. Lexus?
This is exhibit ABCDEF.
F? That's what they're there for. There you go.
Can you briefly describe what you see in this photograph?
Yeah, it looks like the outside of the second structure you're building, a mailbox and a water container of some type maybe.
Okay. Does it appear like water is running outside of this hose?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Would you say that that is running water?
On the exterior of the structure, sure.
Okay. Would you say that at that address, at 1705 East Carpenter, there is running water?
I would refer to that to my plumbing inspector to see if it meets the requirements for the state of Illinois plumbing code.
So in this photograph, you would not consider this running water?
It's coming out of a tube, but I can't even see what the tube's connected to.
Okay. Take a look.
The tube's out of the picture.
Give me one moment, John.
Absolutely.
I don't have track of these.
I think it's gonna be G, although I still think we missed C somewhere along the way. Let's call it G. Yes, sir.
In the photo to the left-hand side, does it appear like I am washing my hands from the same system?
Yes, that's what it appears.
Okay, would you say that that is running water?
Sure.
It's a yes or no?
Yes.
He said sure. That's what I
apologize, I'm just not-
I took that as yes.
Uh,
Thank you, just leave it right there.
Earlier, you mentioned that, in question, that each building should be considered a safe and habitable dwelling. That must have a toilet and a kitchen. Can you describe what a kitchen is?
Yeah, it's a food for, it's an area reserved for food preparation
Okay.
and disposal.
And can kitchens also be outside?
Well, if it's going to be a habitable space on the interior, you're
For
talking
the
about
purposes of the
structure.
question, it's a yes or no.
Yes,
Okay. So would you say that a kitchen can be both inside and outside?
yes,
Okay. Can a person have just a kitchen on the inside?
no.
I'm sorry?
You can't have just a kitchen. What do you mean by just a kitchen? Like say nothing else in the
Do you
structure?
have a kitchen just on the inside of your home?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can someone have just a kitchen on the outside?
No, because if it's a residence, the kitchen,
For the
bathroom,
purposes of this
livable
question,
space
yes or no?
are, no, code requires a food
This is
preparation
not a fair
area
question.
inside.
Can a person have a kitchen just outside? Yes, sir.
But you're talking about, is it a residential space?
You
that has a
mentioned
kitchen?
earlier in your statement that a kitchen is defined as a place where someone prepares food, correct?
In reference to the interior of the structure.
Well, the structure we're referencing the outside. So can someone?
That's not part of the space on the interior to make it little. You're putting it outside. So it's not provided on the interior of the structure.
Right, so the question he asked was, let's just roll it back, it's about the same conversation we just had a minute ago. We just laughed in the back of the room. He just asked you, can a person have a kitchen only on the outside of the structure? And that was just the way it was
That was-
phrased. If you can answer it, you're able to, just answer yes or no.
I can't answer that.
Okay.
So I'm going to rephrase the question. That's okay. Can a person prepare food outside?
Yes.
Okay. So would you say that a kitchen can also be outside?
Yes.
Uh, You stated in your affidavit that a location that has water must have both hot and cold water, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you define what cold water is?
It's water that's not tempered by a heating system.
What is hot?
It's water that is gone through a device and heated to a certain temperature to provide a sanitary.
Was there ever inspection done at 1705 to your knowledge by your department to check for water?
No, because again, when our staff called, they said there was no water service.
Did they ever check the temperature of the water?
No.
So would one know whether or not there is hot or cold water at the residence?
No, if it's not connected to a public water source, there would be nothing to go and inspect.
Okay. And in earlier conversation, we verified that the city allows the use of private water, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Let me go ahead and read that again. Under 171.10, ISPC 890, each building which is intended for human habitation or occupancy shall have a connection to a public water system, a private water system, or a private water supply. Do you recall that conversation?
I do.
So would you be able to go to IWC's website and check somebody's private water supply?
Jackson Gates of the characterization there. Misquoted the section.
I'm going to record that.
No, not you.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
You just identified the government.
171.10.
Yeah, you said IWC.
Oh,
I didn't take care of that.
Oh,
Objection about city water, lights, and power. City water, lights, and power, because you're talking about city lights and power, so this is not relevant to that. City water, lights, and power, is this a private entity, yes or no?
I don't know what it is public or private. So,
Because you stated earlier in your comment that in order for anyone to check whether or not there is hot and or cold running water, that company would be able to tell you, correct?
no, that's not what I said. They would be able to say if there was a service provided. Essentially, you're hooked up to the public utility. They can tell you whether or not you do have that connection and if you're being
Okay.
billed at that property.
If someone who has private access to their own water, how would the city determine whether that individual has hot and cold water?
Much like sanitary sewer, I believe it all has to be approved in writing by CWLP, so they would, I'm sure, keep a list of those.
Are you a CWLP employee?
No, I'm not.
So you have no way to know, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you do not know whether or not the pod or any of the structures at the residence have either hot or cold running water, correct?
Correct to my knowledge, they don't have, they're not essential public utilities, all we know.
Okay. And in the code referenced earlier, do you now know that the city permits the use of private stagnant water.
I don't know that you have to
I just read
CWLP, right, but that's that code, the CWLP's policy to allow that or not. Would be up to
We're
them.
not arguing policy. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, I think we've covered that.
Yeah. Council, do you have that request for the area function? Yeah.
Do you need a minute, Mr. Lexus? Okay. If I may have to take a brief, like 3-minute recess, just take care of something for an attorney, I can see wandering outside the door.
In your affidavit, you said that the violations include habitable rooms needed to be 70 square feet, toilets were required, a kitchen was required, we've established that kitchens can be both inside and out. Connections to a sewage system is required, the structure needs running hot and cold water, and that smoke alarms were required. Do you know, to your knowledge, whether there was smoke alarms installed at the residence?
No.
No. So would you say that that's a violation?
If they're not present, but again, this structure doesn't meet the requirements to be a residence in.
Did you yourself at any time inspect the property?
No.
Did anyone on your behalf inspect the property?
Yes, Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Warner, building inspectors.
Are any of them present here today, Clay?
There.
So you yourself do not know whether or not there is hot and cold running water. You yourself do not know whether or not there is a smoke alarm installed. You yourself do not know whether or not a toilet is present on property, and whether or not the habitable rooms are 70 square feet. Is that correct?
The structures aren't 70 square feet, so you couldn't have a habitable room. You still are also required to have one room that's habitable.
The
That's
answer is
120
yes, sir.
square feet.
It's yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna sustain the objection on the basis that it's a compound question. I'm gonna ask those separately. Some of those have already been asked and answered, and you're moving into argument, I think, Mr. Lexus.
Can you define what a habitable room is?
Yes, it's a habitable room is a room that's, has any dimension that's greater than 7 square feet.
Can you define what a habitable attic is?
No.
Does the city allow individuals to sleep in an attic space?
Yeah, it's not unconditioned. Plus, there's minimum requirements for ceiling heights and out.
For the second structure that's listed at the address, do you know what that height is?
I do not.
Did your building inspectors who you say inspected the property, do they know what the height of that is?
No, it was a stock board order so that you would provide information with your building permit to see if it met code.
When was that inspection conducted?
The date would be on the evidence of the permit.
To the best of your knowledge.
I don't know because I didn't conduct the inspection.
Did you send anyone to that address to conduct an inspection?
Actually, they stopped by to see if work was actually being performed without a permit.
The answer is yes. Did you send
No.
anyone personally to inspect?
No, I believe they got a complaint and they went there to see if work was being performed.
So how are you aware of the inspection if you did not send someone?
It's in our system, and that's also part of the evidence that was turned in, their inspection report.
And what was the result of that inspection?
That work was being performed without a permit.
So is this a conversation about a permit or whether or not a space can be added?
Well, that was about them stopping by. I believe that question was asking. if
So
they had a
an
permit.
inspection about habitability was not the inspection that was conducted at that date, correct?
On the second structure being built with no permit, no.
Was there ever an inspection conducted on the first structure?
Not an interior inspection.
So those inspectors would not know if there are lights on the inside, correct?
Correct.
Those inspectors would not know whether or not there is a smoke alarm on the inside, correct?
Correct.
I believe in the plaintiff, in the request that was filed, it indicates that a smoke alarm was not installed. Yet no one can efficiently determine whether or not there was everyone present. So I'd like to ask you, how did you or your officials come to know whether or not a smoke alarm was present inside any of the buildings?
I believe the inspection report is listing all of the requirements for a residential space. And smoke detectors are part of that requirement.
Can you describe what you see in the bottom photograph?
It's a device or something.
You said earlier that you worked in building management and zoning, correct? Have you ever seen such a device?
Yes.
So you should be familiar with what that device is.
What appears to either be a smoke or a carbon monoxide detector.
Okay. So would you say, from your experience, how long does a smoke alarm usually last?
It's 10 years. It's required to be replaced at that time.
Is anyone required to inspect smoke alarms?
We inspect them quite often with fire safety whenever we're doing inspections.
And you said earlier that no one inspected the interior of any of the buildings, correct?
To my knowledge, that's correct.
So the inspection was not done for a smoke alarm.
No.
And to your knowledge, you don't know if one was present.
Correct.
So how could an inspection have happened if it was not also on the inside?
They're inspecting the exterior of the building.
And who is that?
The building inspectors,
And what's their names?
Thomas Hamilton and Matt Warner.
Did they make a report on the inspection?
That's the evidence that was turned in.
That was the only report?
I believe so.
When inspectors go to properties, do they have a checklist of all the items they're checking for?
No, not a written checklist.
So would you say that that was not a thorough inspection?
No, I think they went there to determine if there were structures of some kind put on the properties.
So this specific inspection was not to determine habitability, correct?
No, it's to determine whether the structures were there or not, if permits are required.
You stated earlier that an accessory dwelling that is under 120 square feet did not require a permit. Is that correct?
I said a storage building. There's specifics to what can go without a permit.
Define storage.
Something that they can use to perhaps put things into maintain the property. Hand tools, and something you're just storing.
Is it just tools and can it be anything?
It can't be a person.
What's required to obtain a permit for anything over 120 square feet?
You would come to our office and fill out the necessary paperwork so it could be reviewed.
And did I ever show up to your office to fill out a permit application for structure?
You did for the second structure, which I believe is still under construction.
Do you believe that that was in good faith?
No,
Why is that?
because you've posted videos online that you intend to live in it, but you told us it was just a storage building.
I told you specifically the storage.
I believe you noted that it was a storage building in your permit.
Was there ever anything in video that you can attest to that was stated as a product?
I think you referenced that you were intending to build these for people to live in, kind of like an Airbnb scenario, and then you'd had electronics and stuff to it
Can you
already.
specify a video?
This is a YouTube video. So
Did that video specifically say it came with me?
it was a video of you showing the pod.
Okay. Do you know what a pod is?
By your definition, I don't.
Do you believe that people have the right to worship in their homes?
Sure.
Does that depend on the size of their home?
No.
Does it depend on whether or not they own that home or the property?
No.
Does an individual need a permit to build a faith-based structure?
Any structure that would require a permit in the city of Springfield, yes, you'd be required to get a permit regardless of what structures you're going to use for.
Someone who is practicing the faith must obtain a permit to build a faith-based structure in their home, correct?
You have to have permits to build a church, you have to have permits to build anything that requires a permit.
What is considered a residential building?
The building that's going to be used as a residence.
Okay. From your knowledge, how long have I lived at that address, 1705 East Carpenter Street?
I'm not sure, you called us in March, I think it was like April or May, perhaps, when the first structure appeared.
Was it longer than 30 days?
I don't know.
Is
I
the,
assume
is the
it's April or
structure
May.
still present to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. So when you say it's longer than 30 days, if the pods have been at the property,
Yeah,
would you say that because of this, because of the length from the day that the pond was at the property till today, that a residency has been established at the address?
a residential structure has not been, that's what we're doing.
That a residency has been established at the address?
By what definition?
Would you say that the individual who is living at the address has established a residency at that address? I'm gonna go ahead and read this.
Okay, so that's sustained.
Can you redefine a residential building?
No, that is the definition of residential buildings, the building and structure that's used as a primary residence for individuals to live in.
Okay. Would you say that the pod could be used as a residential unit?
I would say no, because it doesn't meet the building code requirements.
And what building code requirement is that?
Well, you'd have to have a foundation, which has to be below frost, which is 36 inches in our area. And then the structure itself would have to be anchored to the foundation. Otherwise, there's no way to meet our 90 mile per hour wind load. And then the structure itself, we also have a 35 pounds per square foot snow load here. And since this isn't standard building construction, in any case, anytime somebody wants to build something out of the ordinary, we would require an engineer's report that says that they can meet that code.
Are you aware that the county of Sangamon permits the use of mobile homes, yes or no?
Yes,
Okay. Would you say that the city of Springfield is or is not in the same county?
we are in San Diego.
Okay. Would you say that individuals who have registered their mobile homes in Springfield can use them in the county? Yes, sir.
Well, actual mobile home has a tag from the state of Illinois saying that it's a mobile home, how it was manufactured, that it meets all those requirements.
Okay.
So I'm not aware that yours has that.
Just ask the
Can you ask the question?
question. Define mobile home.
It's a home that basically is built on a frame in a factory and can be mobilized. It could be taken from one spot to another. depending on-
Would you say that because the pod is not on a foundation tied in, that makes the pod mobile?
The pod would be mobile, yes.
Okay. So the pod is or is not permitted to be at the property, given that the county allows the use of mobile homes.
No, we're not, because even those mobile homes still have foundations and anchoring requirements and are hooked up to all the public utilities.
And what are those anchoring requirements?
It would be a foundation below frost, and then a method to anchor the structure itself to that foundation.
Would you say that once those anchors are in place, that no longer makes the home mobile?
The way those are designed, those anchorings can be removed, and then the axles and wheels can be reinstalled, and it can be moved. But while it sits on the property, it's anchored.
You stated earlier that an inspection has not been made to the inside that you're aware of, correct?
Correct.
And you said earlier that an inspection outside was made, correct?
Correct.
What portions of the outside of the building were inspected?
Well, when building inspectors went to the property, they said that you were building some kind of secondary structure.
So, no official inspection was conducted, to your knowledge, at the lot, correct? It's the first.
They just viewed it from the exterior and had basic,
Would you say that visual inspection alone is sufficient to determine a space to be habitable?
yes, based off the square footage and anchoring, it can be.
Earlier in your affidavit, you cited City Code 170.16.13. Unsafe and dangerous buildings. Can you, in your own words, define what that code says?
Well, in this scenario, it would be applied to the fact that you have no anchoring, and you don't need the minimum square footage, and as far as we know, you have no connections to the utilities for sanitary purposes.
1 second. Council? I'm going to enter this into an exhibit.
You're asking if you want, yes, Mr. Lexus.
H.
H, thank you, Jeff. It's identified as, it's like Springfield City Ordinance entitled 170.16.13 Unsafe and Dangerous Buildings Defined. Thank you.
Are you familiar with section A of this?
No, off the top of my head.
Are you familiar with section B of this?
No, I don't have it memorized.
Are you familiar with section C?
No.
Section D?
Okay, I think we have to point, just ask him something more specific. He's
To your knowledge,
answered it.
and from a visual perspective of the inspectors that were present on the inspection, did it appear like the building was faulty in any way or looking like it was going to decay?
The new building you're building does have some materials that will be exposed to the elements that are going to have to be protected.
Just like, just like to give you a minute to look through that, just so I can take care of this emergency.
Yep, I just-
Real quick, okay? Ms. Perry, you want to go around and just, and maybe, and lobby at 5?
Yes,
And we'll do that, just printed your pleadings off, so.
thank you, Judge.
We'll just take a couple minutes right now, before you, right? Be right back, yeah, just like 3 minutes, emergency petition they emailed about, so, be right back.
Oh, my back.
everybody for your patience. Everybody, please be seated. Thank you. Back to the matter at hand. Would you like to start for the introduction? Hope you're able to get your exhibits in order and want to continue.
So earlier you
Let me get down. I'm sorry.
That's clever, that was fine, thank you.
Earlier you stated for cities municipal code 170.16.13 that you were not familiar with section 8, right?
So I don't have them memorized.
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to read that section.
Could you say the number one more time?
It's 170.16.13, section 8.
Oh, okay, that's the exhibit you have. It's not contained on the.
Yeah, there it is.
Exhibit. Okay, go right ahead.
It says the building or structure or any portion thereof is likely to partially or completely collapse because of dilapidation, decay, faulty construction, removal, movement, or instability of any portion of the ground necessary for the purpose of supporting the building, or deterioration, decay, or inadequacy of its foundation. So, I'm just going to show you this. This was previous. Your Honor, I think this was already entered in.
Don't think so, Mr. Lexus. Okay, so, Defendant's exhibit I. I'm just dating this.
Yeah, scroll at the bottom. If you can, please take a look at the image to the left. Does it appear, this is a yes or no question, that the structure in the image, does that appear to look like a structure that is decaying? Yes or no?
No,
Does it appear like the building is tipping over?
in this picture?
Does it appear like it is on a foundation?
No.
Can you please describe what the building is currently on?
I believe it's on cinder blocks.
And what are cinder blocks used for?
They can be used for a foundation.
Was there ever a report conducted? Sorry, when the inspectors came to the property at 1705 East Carpenter, did they make a report of any possible fire damage?
No,
Any earthquake damage?
no,
Any wind damage?
no,
Any flood damage?
no.
Are you familiar with section C of this same code?
I don't have it memorized.
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to read section C.
Okay,
Any portion of the building or structure has been damaged by fire, earthquake, wind, flood, wet rots, termites, line substance, or any other cause, to such an extent that the structural strength or stability thereof is less than what it was in the damage. In the previous photo that you just received, does it appear like the building has ever been on fire?
No,
Are you aware of any flood in that image?
I don't know.
In your affidavit, you cited this code. In your affidavit number 13, you say pursuant to City Code 170.16.14, persons are not allowed to live in an unsafe and dangerous structure, correct? Given just some of the codes that was read to you, does it appear like that building was damaged in any way?
No,
Did it feel like that building was unsafe?
Yes,
Awesome.
it's going to be used as a residence. It doesn't meet the
In
requirements.
the photo, did the building appear unsafe?
Yes, it's not protected by any kind of wind.
Take it, so.
I believe it's,
Let me take a look at that photo again. Do you see any lights in that photo?
yes,
Would you say that this particular building has utilities?
no,
Then how is it lit?
you would have to sell me how you have it.
Okay. So, since you're asking, Your Honor, let me answer this question.
We'll let you testify to that in a moment, okay?
So, from the photo, do you see more than one light?
Yes.
Would you say that there are two lights present,
Mhm.
and are they both on?
Yes.
Okay. So, would you say that based on that visual representation, that there are utilities?
No.
No. Define utilities.
Utilities would be the supplying of water, sanitary, and electric.
Okay. Define electric.
It's electricity. It's hooked up to the city's utility source, a permanent source.
Define a light bulb.
It's a mechanism used to illuminate an area.
And how does a light bulb illuminate? I'm going to actually ask.
I'm going to indulge him with this one further question, and again, I believe you want to testify about this, and I'll hear your testimony today, okay?
Without electricity, can a light bulb illuminate? Yes.
No.
One second, Your Honor. The next consideration about this.
Okay.
I'm not keeping track of this.
It's okay, because this guy over here is, so I think we're on Jay. Sir.
Earlier I mentioned in section C, any portion of the building or structure that has been damaged by a fire. I'm going to pass you a picture. At the top, at the top left side, can you briefly describe what you see?
It's fire sprays.
Would you believe that if a fire were to occur, that a fire extinguisher wouldn't be available for immediate use based on
I have no idea what this location is.
Okay. So this location is inside of the dwelling, the residence. It's at the window. Would you say that if a fire were to occur, that I would have access to a fire extinguisher?
I'm not familiar with the layout of the interior, so I can't answer that question.
Was yes or no?
He can also say when he's unable to answer. So I think that's what he said, that he doesn't have knowledge to know the answer.
Wait 1 second. Sure. In any of the photos presented to you, did you see any type of damage at all?
No, I did not.
Did you see any broken windows?
No,
Did you see any broken glass?
no,
Did you see any decay?
I did not.
Are you familiar with section H of this municipal code?
I don't have it memorized.
It states, Your Honor, if I may, the building or structure used or intended to be used for dwelling purposes because of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, broken windows, doors, decay, damage being open and unsecured, faulty construction or arrangement, inadequate light, air, or sanitation facilities or otherwise is determined by a building inspector or housing inspector to be unsanitary, unfit for human habitation, or in a condition that is likely to cause sickness or disease. You stated earlier you didn't see any broken doors, any broken windows, correct?
Correct.
Did you see any broken doors?
No,
Did you see a window in any of the photographs?
I believe there were windows in some of the photographs.
Would you say with the window present that that provides adequate air?
I don't have knowledge to answer that question.
Did you see lights in the photograph?
Did,
Would you say that in the photographs presented, there was adequate light?
on the exterior,
Okay.
There it is.
Maybe so, we call this one K.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna pass this photo to you if that's okay. On the top left, do you see a light?
I do.
Is that light bulb illuminated?
It is.
Do you believe that this photograph is a picture of a light bulb outside or inside?
Interior.
Would you say that there is an illuminated light inside?
If that's for this picture, it is not, then yes.
Next one. This is the next exhibit, Your Honor.
Okay. Al?
Correct.
Any choice?
And I just pulled back.
That'll be fine.
Inspector, if you may, can you please tell me if the light that you see here is on?
The top photo of the light is on.
Okay. Do you recognize this building?
I believe this is the structure you have sitting at 1507 East Carpenter Street.
Okay. Would you say that this is adequate lighting
For the exterior of the
for
building?
the exterior?
Yes.
Okay. Do you by any chance know what the lumens is for this light?
I do.
I'm going to tell you. It is.
Let's do that and move it
I
again.
figured that was going to happen. I just
Yeah.
want to double check. Okay.
Well, you just,
To your knowledge, In the photo, what appears to be on the ground to the right-hand side?
Solar panels.
Solar panels? Would you conclude that from this photo, that that light may be powered by that solar panel?
Could be.
From the top right, sorry, the top left, I'm getting my slides mixed up, I apologize. Can you tell me what you see in this photo?
Appears to be a light fixture and some kind of electronic device.
If you look carefully, can you tell me what it reads on the display?
No,
You can't read
it's
it?
not clear enough.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't
It's a
have,
follow-up question.
I don't have it in my hand, I'm not sure what he's pointing at. What were you asking, Mr. Lexus, which store?
Actually, let me just rephrase the question.
Okay, so your objections.
And council, I'm going to show you the photo again, just so you're aware. I'm asking for what this is. Okay. In the photo, do you see a light illuminated, yes or no?
In two of the photos.
In this photo particularly?
Mhm.
Okay. What, in your words, appears to be just underneath that light?
An electronic device.
Okay. Does that electronic device appear to be powered?
Yes,
Okay. Does it appear to be on?
yes,
Okay. Are you able to make out what's on there?
no.
Okay. Council, I'm just showing him this. From this picture, you stated earlier that a kitchen is defined as a place where someone prepares food, correct?
Correct.
Can you briefly describe to me what you see in that photo?
The photo on the left side. A light fixture, electronic device on the wall, and appears to be a dish with a fork sitting to the side of it.
Okay. Does that dish contain food?
It does.
Okay. Would you say that that meal in that photo was prepared in that dwelling?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'm gonna add this. This is pretty. Is the property scheduled for demolition?
No.
No. Are you familiar with section 501 of the code?
No.
Ron, am I going to read that out?
So I'm just gonna ask you, I'm just trying to expedite things here for you. If that's not an allegation, is it an allegation, Mr. Holder, propounding an objection, is this particular can you show in that section to see if that was,
It's not irrelevant directly, it was a follow-up, but it's a
okay, I just move on to what they allege.
You stated earlier that a dwelling cannot be a residence unless it meets certain criteria, correct?
Several different criteria from the building code. Yes.
Someone who is living in an abandoned house, that person has been living for 30 days. Would you say that they are living in the house?
I would.
Would you say that they are a resident in the house?
I would.
And you would not because,
I'm dealing with the structure itself, and not whether it's relevance and it's living in it.
I don't know if this follow-up question is gonna
We'll
be
see,
off topic.
see if we get an objection.
This is gonna be a little weird to ask, so bear with me. In an abandoned building, is an individual still able to receive mail if they're living there? To your knowledge.
Yeah, this is standing objection for relevance
Okay.
to these proceedings.
I'm
They're really foundation.
trying to find the right way to ask the question.
Okay.
Uh, Give me 1 second, I'm going to look back for a sec. In your affidavit number 7, you said an outside water wall and a dishwashing unit does not adequately comprise the kitchen. Can you briefly describe what you mean by that?
Well, it's on the exterior of the residence, of the structure, it's not on the interior.
And when was that specifically? Period.
When was,
When was the water bottle and dishwashing unit?
I saw it in a photograph that was taken by inspectors.
Would you say that since then, that would not be the case today?
I would say it still is a part of the structure and still would meet those requirements for the code.
Can you define dishwashing unit?
It's a unit manufactured for the purpose of cleaning dishes.
Okay. Do dishwashers operate only on cold water?
No, not that I'm aware of.
To your knowledge, do dishwashers use both hot and cold water to clean and sanitize dishes?
I believe there's a minimum temperature that they all operate on.
Would you say that the dishwasher present at the address allows the occupant to safely clean and wash the dishes?
Perhaps on the exterior of the building.
Would you say that if a dishwasher was present inside of the dwelling, that dishwasher would safely wash those dishes?
It would depend on if it had adequate hot water or not.
Alright, so I'm going to go back to a follow-up question on that. And from your at the top photograph, can you briefly describe what's present on screen?
Electronic device.
Can you read to me what the first blue icon says?
It says panic,
And what does the red icon say?
emergency,
And what does the orange?
fire.
Okay. What type of device do you believe this is?
I don't know.
Would you say that in this dwelling comprises an emergency alarm system?
I couldn't say that based off of just having this electronic device.
Are you familiar with in-home security systems?
No.
Are you familiar with the Vivint security system?
No.
Would you say, even though you are not familiar with those systems, that those functions are available at this address?
Just based off the pictures, I can see devices are there, but I don't know how any how it's connected.
It's all right. There's no objection, because again, they didn't allege that you're required to have security systems. LVR. Thank you. Yeah? Yep. Okay. Mr. Hogan, follow-up questions? Okay, Mr. Flynn? How many witnesses do you have after that?
One more after this.
I'm starting to get a little concerned about time here.
I don't, I mean, at least from my perspective, I don't foresee the next, these questions taking too long for the next one.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I give plenty of time to Mr. Lexus today also. Let's try to get through your witnesses and then we'll discuss where we're at on time. And because I'm not gonna prevent you from testifying, or I don't want to cut your time short, so if we have to schedule additional time for it, I certainly will. And so let's see where, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the clock.
Yep, I apologize, Your Honor, I was,
There's no need to apologize, we'll accommodate it however we need to. I just want to make sure we have that time. Unfortunately, today, I'm not having enough court staff to keep after 4:30, and I've got an appointment I have to be at, so we'll accommodate this however we need to, okay? Mr. Hogan, you want to finish up your question? I'm not trying to hurry, rush anybody.
Yes, Mr. Flynn, you were asked earlier about a certain code section. And it began with ISPC. Do you know what that means?
Well, it could be several different codes, actually.
The ISPC 890 chapter, here, let me back up here.
Help me out, is this on the second page of this
yes.
document? that
Yes.
Ends with Matthew Warner?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I able to see that?
Can I borrow a copy?
Mine's all marked up.
Okay, city code section 170.
Mine's all marked up, it's right here.
Thank you.
I just, I believe.
I didn't want to do this out.
Ignore my markings.
Is this in reference to Illinois State Plumbing Code?
That's what I'm asking. Under check section 171, would that be under the city's plumbing code?
Yes, I do believe so. If it's ISPC, it should be the Illinois State Plumbing Code.
Thank you, that's all I needed.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. Now, we have this as an exhibit, that was just my copy, so.
Yeah, you said that's the international, right?
Illinois.
Illinois.
State of Illinois has its own specific plumbing code.
Okay. So that's a statewide generic code section that the city has adopted as part of its code.
Yes, the city is required to adopt the state of Illinois plumbing code.
Okay. So is that why it reads in terms of public water systems, private water systems?
That is correct.
Okay. And to your knowledge, for the property located at 1705 East Carpenter, are there any water system, water supplies other than city located?
No,
I'm sorry, hear the questions.
I can repeat it.
Yes, please.
Okay, so to your knowledge, at the property location of 1705 East Carpenter, are there any other water system or water supplies other than city located?
not to my knowledge.
To your knowledge, is there any private water supply company in the city, within the corporate limits of the city of Springfield?
Not to my knowledge.
What constitutes a water system or water supply?
It'd be supply to the public water source that's treated water. So if you're connected to the city of Springfield, potable water is connected to your property. You have access to that.
That does not include water that a person may or may not transport to their property.
No, that would be separate.
So if if the city code requires a permit to build a structure, does it matter if the structure is being used for secular or non-secular purposes?
No, it is not.
You mentioned that cinder blocks may be used as a foundation Can you explain when they may be used as a foundation?
Yeah, they're part of a foundation system. You would have to start with footings, which is a solid poured concrete system that is below the frost line. And then on top of that, cinder blocks can be laid by a mason where they use mortar and adhere them together to build a system that's a proper foundation.
We were reviewing the pictures of Mr. Lexus earlier. It looked like that had been done in those pictures.
But no, to my understanding and from what I saw in the pictures, they were just laid on the ground.
Hey, thank you. I think we're gonna let you go, okay? Please watch your step, and we also can stay for as much longer as we can go today.
I actually do have some follow-ups to that.
How much?
Just a few more questions.
Yeah, hang tight just for a second. Just a couple. They've got to follow from what he just said, okay?
You said earlier that cinder blocks, actually, can you restate your response to the cinder blocks question?
To you, Mr. Hope.
Timmy,
I said it appeared to be cinder blocks that the building was sitting on.
This might be the most relevant picture, Mr. Francis. This was the one you see, if you saw me pick a picture during that,
Yes.
I was looking.
by your definition, can you define what a cinder block is?
Is a block made out of cement. It's formed and used for construction purposes.
Can cinder blocks be used in a shed?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear exactly what you said.
Can cinder blocks be used in a shed?
Shed, was the word? Okay.
Can cinder blocks be used in an accessory dwelling?
Well, it could be, if it was used correctly.
Can cinder blocks be used in a residential home?
Yes,
And why is that?
because they would be part of the overall system, so it could be that your entire structure is built out of cinder blocks.
In Exhibit A that I submitted in for evidence, can you tell me if you believe the dwelling that is on top, what appears to be cinder blocks, are in fact cinder blocks?
You mean what's underneath it is a cinder block or the structure itself? From the other pictures that I've seen, it appears that those were cinder blocks.
Okay, I appreciate that. Watch your step then again, sir, please. See you ready to call the next witness. Mr. Hamilton, come on. Yep.
Did Mr. Hamilton file an affidavit?
Yeah. Is this, Mr. Hamilton, it was Thomas? Yes. Yeah, okay, sorry, okay. All right, please raise your right hand and you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Not forever, just for that, just for the purpose of this testimony. All right. This is the best policy. Right, you're gonna have a seat there, it's probably important, yeah. You're gonna have a seat there. Mr. Hogan's gonna ask you some questions first, you're gonna just been sworn in, and Mr. Lexus is gonna have an opportunity to ask you some questions also for cross-examination, okay?
Yes.
Just do your best to answer directly, okay? And, Mr. Hutton?
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Thomas Hamilton, capital Thomas, Hamilton.
How are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the city.
What role do you serve?
I'm a building inspector for building and zoning.
How long have you been a building inspector at the city of Springfield?
3 years.
You were employed in that capacity on June 16th of 2026?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the property address 1705 East Springfield?
Yes.
Do you recall going to that property on June 16th of 2026 and performing an inspection?
Yes.
Okay, why did you go out to that property?
We were sent out there from our office. I was sent out there on a complaint, I think it was.
Do you recall what the complaint was?
No, I do not.
What did you observe when you arrived at 1705 East Springfield?
The gentleman was building a structure. And it was in the process of being built.
Was there another structure on the property?
There was, yes.
Was that one also in the process of being built?
That one was already finished.
How large would you estimate either property?
Property.
I'm sorry.
The one that we went there to stop and building was approximately 4x8.
And that was the one he was in the process of building?
That was the one he was in the process of building.
Okay. Was the other one any larger than that?
No, they were both about the same size.
So you said 4 foot by 8 foot?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
A sheet of plywood is 4x8, and I didn't see any material indicating any difference.
To your knowledge, what was the size of the sheet?
That is correct.
Were you able to inspect the interior of the structure?
I was not.
Why not?
We were asked to leave.
Were you asked to leave by the owner of the property?
Yes.
That person here?
Yes.
Do you happen to recognize that person?
Yes, he's.
You know who that person is? Sorry.
I don't know him personally, no, sir.
You describe her.
So, this is, did he identify himself as the owner of the property?
He did.
And he's identified himself that way in court today. I think that's sufficient for him. Hey, it's not criminal.
Sorry, I had to. All right, and then did you prepare an inspection report?
I did not. I was there with another inspector, and I actually took over the case.
That had been Matt Warner?
That is correct.
Sorry. Is it someone in here?
One, I've been marking on here. Is there an actual one? I have a clean one. Do you have the clean one, Mr. Lexus, by any chance?
One more time, Your Honor.
Do you have the clean one that I have like highlighted and marked all over?
I do have exhibit 1.
I think that might be it, yes.
Okay.
It's entitled, date 6/16 inspection, it says Tom Hamilton's name at the top. Yeah, let's reuse that one. There's a page 2 to that also, unless it's on the back.
This one was on the market, yeah, so that.
Okay, so that we previously identified as, offense exhibit 1.
Just trying to look at that while.
Cities, exhibit 1.
That's okay. Oh, it's cities 1?
Yes.
It's all right, Jeff knows.
Okay. Sorry, I just thought I heard you say.
I did, oh, it was wrong.
Yeah. All right. Are you familiar with that, Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay. All right, and how are you familiar with it?
This is what we fill in when we do an inspection. These are the violations that are submitted as to what is being done on the property.
Okay. And underneath inspection, it says inspected by Thomas Hamilton, is that you?
I was there for the initial inspection, and I put in here that this is a valid complaint.
Okay. So you observed those violations listed?
Yes, I did. I was there when the inspection was being done, or what we could do as far as an inspection.
All right, and so you would agree that those are accurate?
Yes.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Lexus, please. Yes, please.
Can I get your name one more time? Sorry, I didn't quite catch it.
Thomas Hamilton.
And what is your position?
I am the city building inspector.
Your building inspector. Did you at any time visit the address 1705 East Carpenter Street?
Yes, I did.
On what day?
On the day it's on the sheet right there.
So that's it.
June 17th, I think it was.
And were you present with anyone else?
I was, yes.
And who was that?
That was Matt Horn, another building inspector.
And is he present here today?
It's not.
You said earlier, according to the representing party, that someone had sent you to 1705 East Carpenter Street. Is that correct?
That would be my office, meetings.
Was it anyone in specific?
They don't give us a name, they just give us a job title to go to.
Did you receive a work order?
I guess you could call it that, yeah. It was on the computer generated city works is what we use.
Okay. Or did you receive a formal work order for an inspection?
Be a little bit more specific, I just answered the question.
Did anyone from your department give you some formal work order on paper?
I would have to come from my supervisors.
So you had no idea what you were inspecting when you were at the property?
At the time, no.
Okay. Did you inspect the property?
We went there to do an inspection and we tried to give an explanation why we were there.
Did you inspect the property?
I was there, yes.
Okay. Did you inspect the property?
I was asked to leave from the property, so no, I did not.
So you did not inspect the property, correct? Okay. So an inspection was not conducted at the property?
Please explain more of what you're asking. Because
Did you conduct an inspection at 1705 East Carpenter Street on the date that you visited?
I did do an inspection.
Okay. What did you inspect?
I came onto the property to actually stop process of a building being built without a permit, and that is what we call an inspection.
Okay. So you were not given a work order.
I was giving a work through city.
Do you have that with you present today?
No, I do not.
When you conducted your inspection, you stated that you were there to stop work from being done. Is that an inspection or is that an order to stop working?
Well, it turned out to be an order to stop working.
So that's not an inspection.
I guess he's asking me to this. It's kind of argument, I should like this at this meeting.
Yeah. Did you enter the inside of any of the dwellings?
No, I did not.
Were any of the dwellings decapitated, damaged in any way?
As far as kind of damage.
In any way?
No, they were newly constructed buildings.
Was there any water damage?
No, it hadn't rained yet.
To your knowledge, was rain on its way?
I can't predict.
Let me rephrase the next question. Did you conduct a official inspection report?
I did not write an inspection report myself.
Okay.
I explained earlier that Matt Warren was the inspector that actually.
So you've clarified multiple times in this report that you did not conduct an inspection. But the arguing plaintiff here has entered an exhibit with your name on it following these inspections. So did you or did you not conduct a formal report?
Now, wait a minute, are you asking me if I did a report, or are you asking me if I did an inspection?
I'm asking you if you did an
Hold on,
inspection.
there's an objection. Sorry, your witness was still attempting to answer.
I understand, Your Honor. I believe the question is both argumentative and it's
Yes, it has been answered. It is argumentative. I think it's clear to the court that there's a difference in opinion on the inspection. Define it as, and you'll certainly be allowed to testify to that.
Who did
Are you,
you-
Mr. Lexus? Why don't you ask him actually what exactly he did at this? I mean, or I may in a minute, because I would like to know.
When you were present on site, what did you inspect?
When I came there on site, what I was coming to inspect was the building that was being built. And we had asked the gentleman working on it to stop working on it so that we could do an inspection. I told him that he was doing it without a permit and that it needed to stop. We placarded the door, and then as we were doing all this, we were asked to leave this property. I was asked to leave the property, so I went out to the street.
I'm just going to
and
answer the questions.
Okay.
Next question to you is, you stated earlier that you were sent by your office to conduct an inspection, but when you arrived, you found that I was working on the building, correct?
That's correct.
And you had informed me that I needed to obtain a building permit, correct?
That is correct.
Did I at any point in time go to the office to obtain a permit?
You did show up that day.
Was the permit granted?
That I don't know. Once you go there and apply for the permit, I don't see it there until it comes to my desk for approval. But there's three of us inspectors, so I don't know if anybody approved.
Okay. So to the best of your knowledge, you don't know that the building permit has been granted, correct?
At this point, no, I do not.
Okay. When you arrived on scene at that address, you stated earlier the structural design of it. Can you briefly describe what you saw?
It was a rectangle box.
In what size?
Roughly say 4x8.
Do you know the minimum height requirement for the city's rooms?
6'8".
Okay. And what height was the dwelling?
I did not measure it because I was asked to leave the property, so I did not get a permit list.
Did you have the door?
And with a tape measure, no, I did not.
Do you know what the size of the door was?
From what I can see from knowledge, it was a 2'8".
Okay. So would you, based on that knowledge, determine the height of the ceiling to be greater than that of 7 feet?
I would put it at 8 foot tall.
So the interior height, to your knowledge, is 8 feet.
To my knowledge, yes.
Are you aware of any city code that requires that a room height be above 7 feet?
Ask the question again, please.
I apologize, let me rephrase for you. What is the minimum required height for a room to be considered residential?
6'8".
Okay. And is this unit higher than 6'8"?
Without measuring a tape measure, I can only speculate.
Yes, sir.
I would put it as yes.
Did you witness any utilities at that address?
I did witness solar powered utilities, yes.
Okay. Would you say, to the best of your knowledge, that solar panels can be used for utilities?
I am not an electrician, I cannot answer that.
Okay. Witness any other utilities?
No, I did not.
Did you witness any tents?
Yes, I did.
Are you familiar with the tent building codes?
The tent code says that it can't stay in one place for more than 7 days.
And is that for a specific type of tent?
That's our municipal code, that's, yes,
Is that for every tent?
yes.
Probably the second photo down. I just grabbed it, okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, there's one element back to it.
I'm just going to re-ask you this question just for clarity purposes. Council, let me know if you can hear me. To your knowledge, every tent in the city requires a permit, correct?
As my knowledge, yes.
Does it matter on the square footage?
Without the code being in front of me, sir, I cannot answer that question.
Did any of the tents at the property appear to be in excess of 400 square feet?
I have no idea what I would say.
Okay. Are you familiar with the city's tent permitting requirements?
Check the sense.
So, the relevance is that when the inspector arrived at the property, he stated that I also need to obtain a permit for the tents.
Okay, but I don't think they've alleged that.
Well, they are saying that building permit in violation.
I'll let you ask one more follow-up, okay, so if we feel the objection, let's move on for the chance after that.
Before I ask you to read this section first,
Just read.
it's the first paragraph.
So, go ahead, let's get through it, let's get through it.
Council, I'm going to show you this first and then I'll show you
He's seen it,
the-
it was a bit earlier.
Yeah. I'm going to show you this document. Do you recognize this document? Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you're familiar with this document?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you please describe what you see in paragraph 1? Can you read that aloud?
I have a very poor reading.
I'll read it for you.
Thank you.
Even before he does.
I'm
I'm gonna be in my check.
Yeah,
I still haven't asked the question.
let me see that for a second, would you?
Yeah.
I never got a real good look at this earlier. So this is when we marked it, defendant's exhibit B, they're wanting to read this first paragraph.
The section that titles 4. I'm just asking whether or not the tents that were present on that day meet that condition. That's
So this is what it states, I'm gonna read this paragraph myself just real fast, and we're gonna move on from tents, okay? This says, City of Springfield Office of Public Works, this purports to be a photocopy of something that the city has put out. It is entitled, Requirements for Tents, placed for less than 180 days. The permit application is required for tents and membrane structures. I'm not sure what a membrane structure is, but I'm just going to read this sentence. Having an area in excess of 400 square feet, except for tents that are open on all sides, have a maximum area of 700 square feet and a minimum clearance of 12 feet to all structures and other tents. Is that what you needed? Okay.
Did it appear like any of the tents on the property were in excess of 400 square feet?
I only see 110 and no, it did not.
What about 700?
It wasn't that.
Would you say that any of the tents required a permit in this case?
Again, nowadays, relevance.
It's literally relevant. It's
How is it relevant, sir? It's not what they have alleged that you violated.
because we're alleging that I need to obtain a permit for a structure less than 120 square feet. One is not required for one that's in excess of 400.
So I'm gonna let you argue that
Yeah.
later, okay? But I think we're done asking about tents. I don't think that's his bailiwick.
Final question I'm going to ask you is, when you finalized your report, did you submit it to, who did you submit your report to?
I submitted it to City Works.
Is there anyone specific?
City Works is a program, I don't know who we go to after that.
So in conclusion, you did not inspect the property, you did not receive a work order, and you don't know who you submitted your report to? Objection, Your Honor, coming on the question.
Yeah, it's compound, it's argumentative. And it's asked to answer. He's answered the second.
And that you believe the structure's height is above the minimum required for a building space.
We've established
Okay,
minimum
I just wanted to-
requirements.
Yeah, I heard that answer earlier too, so. All right, sir, Mr. Hanson, right?
Yes.
I said the wrong name again. Mr. Hanson, you excuse, okay, please, what's your step? Is you can stay in the courtroom with us if you like, or need some.
So I assume at this point, Your Honor, we wanted to schedule the remainder of the hearing.
Well, let's talk about that, yeah. Do you have any further witnesses that you intend to call?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And, so Mr. Lexus, let's talk about this a little bit. Earlier you said there may be some witnesses you wanted to call, but then we talked about cross-examination. So you were able today to cross-examine the city's witnesses just fine. What about any witnesses you may want to call on your own behalf? We're back to that dilemma.
I do. There is one present in court.
And that was part of the problem.
He
right?
is, unfortunately, a witness accidentally. Was present during a notification that was given to me through the city with its police department.
Was it one of these dates that was just discussed? Like this
It was on the same day. It was on the same day. Yeah.
Who is it?
It's the individual standing behind me.
From the Illinois Times?
Yes.
Identify himself from the Illinois Times, or what?
Yep.
Okay. What, could you just kind of offer what
Yeah.
you'd like him to testify?
The city required me to obtain a permit, but then told me I was not permitted in the building anymore. They sent their own law enforcement, and the witness sitting behind me in courtroom today can attest to that. I was not given a timeline, I was not given any formal paperwork, they just told me I was not permitted to enter the building. So, in good faith, I made efforts to obtain a building.
Okay, but that's, that amount you testified about. So he's just corroborated that he was there in the
Correct.
police with us, so that we could get his testimony pretty short today,
Yes.
instead of letting him get out of here.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about if we need to give you additional time and rescheduling.
I think I'm good on time, but I'm ready for a decision today.
Well, that would be great, but we're at 4:20, so this witness isn't,
Okay.
he's not gonna be 2 minutes.
I understand.
So we had the motion to exclude witnesses in the beginning. What's your position, Mr. Hood?
I believe that you granted that motion, Your Honor.
Yeah, I did grant that motion, but he wasn't real specific on who he was calling, and he is a member of the press.
Well, I understand he's a member of the press, Your Honor, but I don't think that overrides the rules that
Yeah.
the witnesses are not allowed to hear the testimony of other witnesses.
So, sir, can I ask your name again?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Adrian Dater.
Okay, and are you actually a reporter for the Illinois? You told me earlier, I'm sorry, I know this is hard for you to hear. You told me earlier you're a reporter for the Illinois Times?
I'm a freelance reporter, yeah. I'm not a staff writer, but a freelancer, regular freelancer.
You're here in two capacities today, right, or just one? You're
No,
just here to report?
just for Illinois Times, just one.
But you really just feel like you're just here to report today, you want it?
It's okay, we can't proceed.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'm assigned, I've done a couple stories on this already, and I'm just sort of following it, I guess, and doing
Okay.
potentially another story.
I guess I just wanted to distinguish whether you believed you were here as a witness today.
He was.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
No.
so, since he's here as a reporter and.
No, I respect that.
And there was a
I
motion
just-
to exclude,
Yeah, I'm
but you didn't
gonna,
want to exclude him as a reporter, I understand the dilemma.
yeah.
I'm gonna, we don't need to hear from you today tonight.
No, we're good.
Okay.
But I will just attest to
Okay.
it.
And how long do you think if you don't have any other witnesses, how long do you think you'll need to testify?
I just need like 5 minutes.
Okay, let's keep rolling then,
Yep.
if we can, okay? So, since you don't have a lawyer to ask me questions that's here, but remember, after you testify, Mr. Hogan has an opportunity to cross-examine you if he chooses to do so, okay?
Okay.
You may choose not to, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm going to just swear you in as a witness.
Okay.
I'm okay if you want to stay where you're at, actually. But
Yeah.
what do you think, Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, I'm fine with him staying.
Maybe if he decides to cross-examine, we'll bring you up, but I'm comfortable, I can see you better
Okay.
face to face right now, if you're okay there.
Yep.
Okay, so, when you raise your right hand also, okay? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony that you give here today?
I do.
All right. All right, thank you very much. So, you may just want to start by stating your name for the record today.
Absolutely. My name is Chase Hadez, Chase, last name Hadez, Hadez. That's Delta Echo Zebra, commonly known as Colton Lexus, COLTON, LEXUS. That is my social media presence, that is my music presence online. That's what.
Your legal name is the other, Chase?
My legal name is Chase Hadez.
Okay.
Uh,
Your preferred name is Colton Lexus, and the city has identified you as the defendant with both names.
Correct.
Okay. All right, what do you want to tell us today? The city has obviously brought this complaint for injunctive relief, and for today's purposes, has also brought this petition for a preliminary injunction. And you've seen the witnesses, what do you want to tell us about this case study as to why you believe there should not be a preliminary injunction?
Prior to arriving in Springfield, I was going through homelessness. I do have a homeless status certification. In the state of Illinois, I believe that I have been granted the ability to create an encampment based on housing. Specifically, the Illinois Bill of Rights for the Homeless Act permits the use of a safe dwelling on a public way. The pod that was transferred from Chicago to my property here in Springfield, I was residing in that pod in Chicago for over 8 months. That pod was safe to live in. It accompanied having a fire hydrant, a smoke alarm, a carbon monoxide sensor, all of which has been verified through my online presence and daily live streams.
Okay, your online presence, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not considering today's
No,
evidence.
I
I'm just going to
understand.
consider what evidence is before the court.
I will present the homeless status certification. I do believe there was a letter presented before the court last week. And under those conditions, after purchasing the property at 1705 East.
So I'm just going to stop you. I'm not sure what the letter is that you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna find
You
it.
want that to be an exhibit?
It is an exhibit.
Okay, thank you. Jay? What am I shooting for? I'm sorry, I'm way off. Yeah, I'm like.
In the letter, Your Honor, the agency that wrote this letter can attest of that situation for over a year. As a result of that, after moving to the residence, I registered to vote at that address. So I have voting rights as well. I have here a letter from the Sangamon County Clerk's Election Office that states that I have registered to vote on 7/1/2026. I'm going to show counsel this as well. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll call it defendant's exhibit N.
Shortly after being able to vote, I set up services with Republic Services, which allows for the garbage removal. They have sent an invoice for that, which is on May 15th, which is about the time when I began my residency at the address. I do believe these were added to the exhibit. I'm going to show this to council and pass it forward.
Okay. Oh.
Based on my income status and my housing status, I also was able to obtain food assistance programs. So I received notifications and letters at that address from statewide funding regarding my case. And bear with me while I look for the letter of that, Your Honor. I believe again that was submitted. I'm just going to try to find it. Yeah, that's it.
Very good, so we'll call that. Thank you.
After finally having an opportunity to put my life back together, I decided to turn my focus toward God. As a result of that, I have decided to practice my faith in my own home, to live minimally, peacefully, in separation between government and state. I did openly affirm that through the press. I do actually have a physical copy of that article that was posted around that time, if I can present that as evidence.
Do you have an objection to that, Mr. Hogan? I think it's already been, oddly enough, submitted as part of the city's pleadings.
Okay.
Sorry, was it the article?
It's the article.
Yeah.
And by the city hall.
Again,
I think, going to mark one.
I think it's, yeah, for here.
Here, I'll mark this copy. Put an arrow line highlighter, if that's okay.
And I believe that a relief in my case does exist based on those conditions. That if this preliminary injunction was granted, it would cause undue hardship. My voting rights would restrict. I wouldn't be able to practice my faith. I would be back on the streets, homeless. I would not receive notifications from the Illinois Department of Health and Human Services. Friends and family would not be able to send donations, money to help in my situation. The buildings that have been placed there would not be able to be used, my personal possessions, food. I wouldn't have a place to sleep. I don't have a job currently, so I've exhausted all of my financial resources. This would cause a tremendous weight and burden. And I believe that I have made in good faith efforts to be compliant by having a smoke alarm, by having lights, by having solar power, by having my own water, through the resources and donations that I have received and obtained. I also did attempt on the same day of inspection that the inspector is claiming to go and file for a permit, although one is still pending to my knowledge. And I've made every effort to be compliant when it comes to building a safe, habitable home. Both dwellings have metal roofs, hurricane ties, they support wind loads, all of which at some point I'd be able to produce and verify. There is insulation, there is a smoke alarm, there's a carbon monoxide sensor, all of which have been photographed and submitted into evidence. There is an emergency exit. That window is 24 inches by 24. The door is 24 by 8 feet, I believe. The unit has been, and there is a alarm system installed, so in the event a complete hazard appears, I'm able to request emergency services. A photo of the security install company and the individual installing the security company is present there as well in evidence. I do have my own water supply. It is delivered through a third party. It is purified. It is safe to drink. I have receipts of those through Amazon to show. In terms of electricity, I have in multiple cases throughout this hearing have shown that there is running water, there is electricity, there is heating, there is cooling, a photo of the fan, and that these are all alternatives to what the city is asking. I have verified that I do have my own outhouse and it is maintained safely and adequately. There's also garbage removal on site and mail services.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Do you have some questions for Mr. Lexus, Mr. Hogan?
I think you're right. Briefly.
Take as much time as you need.
Mr. Lexus, you mentioned that you have water service through a third party. Is that a roofing company or?
So it depends on the donations that I receive. Oftentimes they come in different packages, sometimes in bottles, sometimes in gallons. But there is, as indicated in the photos, there is a 7-gallon jug where all the filtered water goes through and is being pressurized through a 12-volt water pump, which is powered by the solar panels.
Do you rely exclusively on donations for your water?
I do not. I also do have a credit card that I use for emergencies if necessary to obtain water. The city permits the use of privatized water, and oftentimes the donations in terms of water is in large quantities, so I never run low.
You mentioned you have not how do you dispose of waste?
Waste is burned safely using a incinerator, and I'm also working on obtaining an incinerator toilet, which does not require the use of flushable water and/or a drain pipe. Incinerator toilets are permitted in residential mobile homes. They've been used in those capacities. They are safe to use. When those are burned, it comes in the form of 8 ounces of ash, which can be safely disposed of. It doesn't have any odor, it doesn't have any gas, it doesn't interfere with plumbing in any way. And being that this property has no plumbing through the city, it won't interfere with public utilities.
You acknowledge that you're not connected to any permanent supply for water?
There is a pending order right now through the city to install water. I received a phone call today from that department. They are in the process of providing the water line. They're currently checking to make sure that everything is a go. And I also have backup as an alternative. The city has to allow for alternative uses of water and not just from one specific source, as it has been indicated within the city provisions and code.
Okay. All right, very good. The parties wish to give the argument today, other than the statements that have been made?
Briefly, yes, John?
Do you wish to, Mr. Lexus? I'll have them go first. If not, I can just take this from the
I'll
evidence.
hear whatever he has to say at this point. I don't have a choice, so.
Very good.
So, Your Honor, as you recall, started out by talking about the standard for petition for the preliminary injunction. What the city has to prove today is 2 things. First, there's a violation of the city's code, and second, that the city has standing. I'd like to address the second one briefly because I think it's the easier one. I think it's pretty clear that the city has standing here, cited to the Illinois Municipal Code, as you also cited to this earlier this afternoon, that allows a municipality to bring an action to prevent the unlawful use of the property. And also the city's code allows it to seek an injunction for unsafe structures. As to whether or not the structures are in violation of the city's code, there's two prongs to that from the city's arguments, Your Honor. First is that it's in violation of the city's zoning ordinances. Mr. John Harris testified that in the zoning R2, you need to have an approved structure within it. It has to be a residence, either a single family dwelling or a small multi-family dwelling such as a duplex or something. What's not allowed is small accessory structures. So you can't simply put a garage or a shed on the property without any other use available for that property. That would be in violation of the zoning code. And so here, this pod by itself would be in violation unless it met the city's definitions for a residence. When you look at what a definition of a residence is defined as a structure containing a dwelling unit. There's more to that definition, but that's the central part that the city's relying on here. And then when you look at what a dwelling unit has, a dwelling unit has a bathroom and a kitchen, and it was testified before you today, Your Honor, that those have to be inside the structure. And so, because it does not contain a dwelling unit, it does not meet the definition of a residence, and thus is not an allowed use within the R2 zoning district. Furthermore, on the second part, Your Honor, it's an unsafe structure under the city's code. We've heard plenty of testimony about this structure. It does not have the proper foundation, footings. You heard that the city was not allowed inside the structure earlier, so we have no idea about the other parts of it, whether or not they're safe or unsafe. There's also, we also heard testimony that it has to be of a certain size, at least 70 square feet. And the structure is, the evidence before you, Your Honor, is that it is about 32 square feet, 4 by 8. So it does not meet the size for a safe dwelling. It does not have a connection to sewage. It does not have running hot and cold water. It certainly does not seem to have hot water based on the evidence before you. As such, it meets City Code definition 170.16.13H as a structure that lacks sanitary services otherwise, or otherwise is determined by a building inspector to be unsanitary, unfit for human habitation. And we have testimony from Ms. Flynn that these structures meet that definition. And pursuant to City Code 170.16.14, persons are not allowed to live in an unsafe and dangerous structure. So the city has met its burden to establish that there are violations of the city's code. Because there are violations of the city's code, and the city has standing to enforce its ordinances, the city respectfully believes that it has met its burden for a preliminary injunction, and would respectfully request that this court grant that. Thank you.
And I have
Thank you. Yes, Mr.
I have an
Francis.
argument for this. So I actually believe they don't have a standing in this, Your Honor. We did hear testimony. I confirmed multiple times an inspection was not conducted from the inspector who claimed to have gone out to conduct an inspection because they were not actually going inside of the finished unit. So as of currently, the unit is finished and it's in the process of getting those utilities connected. Additionally to that end, there is, and I've shown proof that there are utilities connected like the water, and there is a dishwasher. This dishwasher has the capacity to have running hot water. The exterior water pump has the capacity to have warm and cold running water. There has been multiple safety conditions that were met, like the blocks that were tested that could be used for this type of building. I do believe that all of the conditions were met for my case for it not to be an injunction to be granted. Additionally, Your Honor, I have also made a point to say that the building did not require to have a permit in the first place because a permit is only required for a building greater than 120 square feet, which we heard testimony of. The argument here is that a permit was required, and because a permit was not issued, that this was in violation. But simply having a permit does not necessarily mean that the structures themselves are dangerous to live in. The unit is a 4x8 structure. These are the same sizes that mobile homes are used. Trailers that can also be allowed in the county in which the residence has already been established. There is residence established. There is mail going to and from the address. There is water being delivered, which I'm allowed to obtain private water. It doesn't have to come from one source. The city also stated that I have to have a toilet and a kitchen. I've also showed proof that there is a kitchen on the inside. There's a microwave in there as well, where food can be cooked. There is ventilation, there is a window, there are cross ventilation points as well as an emergency exit door. all of which meet those standards, as well as the height of the actual building being greater than 7 feet. The arguing plaintiff in this case is saying that it had to have a smoke alarm is present in the building, as well as a fire hydrant, a carbon monoxide sensor. There is more than adequate lighting on the exterior, as well as more than adequate lighting on the interior. This specific structure is not just being used for residential purposes, it's being used for religious purposes, which have been attested as well. And those protections fall under federal, state, and guidelines. So every effort has been made, and those efforts are still being made, and the city has not met the burden of proof that this structure or any of the structures are unsafe. And they didn't see any mold, they didn't see any fire hazards from what I asked. It appeared like they were not even familiar with their own code, because I had asked them if they were familiar with their code, and they said no. When reports were being written, they didn't know who those reports were submitted to. The individuals never obtained a full work order or an inspection. So all of these things in place, I would say that the city has not met their burden of proof.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lexus. I appreciate your arguments, particularly the self-represented counsel. Anything further from the city?
Briefly, Your Honor, see how you could distinguish an impermanent fluctuating water supply, such as bottled water, counts as a utility. And your testimony that.
No, it's okay. I actually had a covered plain argument. I appreciate all the arguments of counsel again. And Mr. Alexis today, self-represented. We spent a lot of time on this today, and I think I have as clear understanding as I can get at a preliminary stage like this, at a preliminary injunction level. I appreciate all these witnesses being present today, and some of our observers too. So first thing I want to do is how I started this out today, and how we ended last time. I just want to make sure everybody understands the legal standard, and that I clearly articulate that to the best of my ability. The Illinois Supreme Court in 2024 solidified what had previously been said by the 4th District Appellate Court, so that normally, because there had been some confusion about this, but there was a preliminary injunctive hearing, we would have this argument about hardships, balancing hardships. It's something that they call equitable arguments, when courts are sitting as a court in equity. However, the Supreme Court has absolutely solidified that when there is a statute in place that allows a municipality to enact ordinances, they're allowed to enforce those. And more specifically, when the statute specifically allows for injunctive relief, what happens next is they have to prove their violations, and if they're able to prove those violations, like I previously stated, then my hands are tied in terms of the balance of the hardships. I see the hardships here. I've listened to what you said. I see that you have gone through some struggles here. I think this is an interesting solution. It's an interesting structure. No doubt in my mind about that. And you have some really creative ideas. The photos are really interesting. I have not, like many of the witnesses. Unfortunately, I've seen it in person. I wasn't asked to see it in person, so that's not in evidence today. And I didn't consider any videos in this matter. I'm only considering what's before the court today. And that also includes putting you in motion that I have for you here, and any sentiment that I may or may not have regarding these kind of structures, completely over to the side. This case is not today about any of my personal opinions. It's about what we heard in evidence today. So I'm going to kind of hone in on this argument that the city has to establish these continuous violations. So that's why we were here for a fact-based hearing. Why we heard witnesses that were subject to cross-examination. And I'm kind of going to go through specifically, just highlight a few things that are from their violation report that I think I heard most specifically about with respect to whether or not the city met the burden today. One of those things that I'm going to cite to you is It was the section regarding sewage disposal on page 1 of 2 on the inspection report, that plumbing fixtures shall be connected to a sanitary sewer or to an approved private sewage disposal system. Another I'm going to cite too is that right below it, the water supply, the fixtures section, says it needs to be connected to an approved water supply. In addition to that, city states and their ordinances state that a permit is required. A permit is supposed to be before construction starts, not after when we get into this one. Inspection is also required, in this case, structural inspection. In this case, they were unable to do so. Accessory structure being built without a permit was the next section, and I believe there was testimony with respect to that. Last paragraph, this was gone over several times in question, that each building shall have a connection to a public water system, a semi-private water system, or a private water supply. I'm not sure what they mean by that exactly. I did not really hear evidence, but I thought it was really clear on that water supply issue. I think that needs to be fleshed out further in this matter. But I don't think I need to reach the conclusion here, which is, the start of this problem is there's no permit. So you move this structure down from Chicago. I'm not sure what happened there. I can just take what you said today. But you put it in a city. It's not out in the country. It's not under county zoning. It's under city ordinances. And the city has a right to enforce their ordinances. And as we've stated, the Supreme Court says not only do they have a right to enforce it, they have a right to enforce it in this manner with a preliminary injunction, and also without having to have me go through balancing these equities today. And sir, I think your structure looks, quite frankly, better than a lot of things I've seen in Springfield these days. And I think that you've made great efforts. And it would be my hope that the city could work with you to try to get this structure within code. But it is clearly not within code when you don't ask for a permit. So when someone builds a structure that's different than a tent, that's different than a homeless encampment, in this court's opinion, from what I heard today. And it's different from the other lawsuit that you may have regarding that. But it does not meet the very basic requirement of the permit, first and foremost. So I'm going to grant their petition for a preliminary injunction today. We're going to set some kind of a briefing schedule with respect to the underlying complaint in this matter, which, as I stated previously, certain clerk system shows that for further proceedings, this is scheduled with Judge Madonia. I don't know if that will be the case. I'll certainly inquire again of our chief judge, since this was an injunctive relief case. I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that you need at least 30 days to respond to their complaint. Now, that can be responsive to you in the way of an answer similar to what you filed to the petition, or that could also be some kind of a dispositive motion. Okay? So you've got 30 days to do that, then the state has 14 days to reply to his response. I'm not going to schedule another hearing date until we know for certain who the judge will be. If you have an order regarding this, I'm happy to sign that.
I have, do you have one copy? I have multiple copies. That's easier for you. Whatever you have. I should say they're all the same. So, I guess outside of briefing schedule, there's no other court hearing schedule.
No, and I'm not sure that it will be with me. So what you're responding to, Mr. Lexus, is that underlying complaint. So this preliminary injunction will be in place as this matter is pending. Unlike a TRO, it doesn't have, I believe, a definitive date, right? Or I don't see one that you put in here.
I did not, and you're welcome to put one in there. A preliminary injunction today.
I can't tell what the city what to do here. I would suggest that you work with the defendant here to do, whatever the city believes is fair and right in terms of vacating these premises, but during these proceedings, you will not be allowed to reside in Mr. Lexus. Okay? Appreciate everybody's patience on it. I know we went into a little bit over. Thank you. City's Exhibit 1, is it floating around out there?
Oh,
Sure, no, we got it.
Oh, never mind, I'm sorry.
No, we got it.